Are you tired of going through life feeling stuck lost, or like you're not growing fast enough? Do you ever wonder why some people keep moving forward while others stay in the same place for years? The truth is, there are a few powerful lessons once you learn them, they can change everything. These are not things you need to hear over and over again. Just once is enough. If you truly understand them and apply them in this video, you'll hear life lessons that can shift your mindset, strengthen your character, and help you take control of your future. We're not here to talk in circles or use fancy words. We're here to get real if you want more clarity, more purpose, more strength in how you live each day. Stay with me until the end. This could be the breakthrough you've been waiting for. Let's start with lesson number 1. Lesson 1. Embrace responsibility to truly control your life. If you want to take control of your life, you must start by embracing responsibility. Nothing changes until you do. The moment you say, "I am responsible," everything begins to shift. Because now, it's not your parents, not your boss, not the government, not the economy. It's you, and that's a powerful place to be. When you finally take responsibility, you stop waiting. You stop waiting for someone to fix it. You stop waiting for better conditions. You stop blaming and start building. You stop making excuses and start making progress. Now, here's what I've learned over the years. Most people don't want to take responsibility. They want to stay comfortable. They want someone else to clean up the mess. They want to complain about what's wrong, but not do the hard work to make things right. That mindset keeps you weak. It keeps you small. It keeps you stuck in the same place year after year. If you want real growth, if you want real strength, if you want real success, then you must stand up and take ownership of your life completely fully, without hesitation. Think about how much time people waste pointing fingers. Think about how many people are walking around angry at the world, blaming their childhood, their circumstances, their past relationships. But the truth is that anger won't build a better future. That blame won't pay your bills. That frustration won't help you sleep better at night. If you want peace, if you want clarity, if you want to sleep with confidence, knowing you gave your best today, then you must rise above the blame game. You must accept the truth. Your life is in your hands now, and it's not easy. I understand that taking responsibility means you no longer have a shield. You can't hide behind excuses. You can't pretend it's someone else's fault. You can't keep waiting for someone to save you. That's hard, but it's necessary. It's the first real step to power. It's the beginning of growth. And most importantly, it's the door to freedom. Because once you own your life, you get to change it. When I was young, I didn't know this. I used to blame everything. I blamed my lack of education. I blamed my job. I blamed the economy. I had a long list. But one day, someone asked me a question that changed everything. What if your life doesn't change until you do? That question shook me. It forced me to look in the mirror. And when I finally said, "Okay, I am responsible," that's when my life began to move in a better direction. Now, responsibility doesn't mean you control everything. That's not what I'm saying. You can't control the weather. You can't control what others say or do. But you can control how you respond. You can control your mindset. You can control your actions. You can control the effort you give. You can control the way you treat people. And that's more than enough. That's where all your power lives. Responsibility is not a punishment. It's a gift. It puts you in the driver's seat. It gives you authority over your choices. It allows you to shape your habits, build your skills, protect your peace, and earn your results. And when life gets hard, and it will, it's responsibility that helps. You stay grounded because you'll know you're not waiting on anyone else. You're doing your part. Some people wait for motivation to come. Others create discipline. Some people wait for the right mood. Others build the right mindset. Some wait for support. Others become their own support system. This is the difference responsibility makes. It turns you from a passive dreamer into an active doer, from a victim to a leader, from someone who wishes to someone who works. And when you start to work on yourself, something amazing happens. You start seeing progress. Maybe not big leaps at first, but small wins. You feel stronger. You feel more in control. You start to believe in yourself again, because nothing builds confidence like keeping promises to yourself when you do the hard things. When you follow through, when you make changes, you start to feel proud. And that pride isn't arrogance. It's earned self-respect. And that's something no one can give you. You must earn it by taking responsibility. There's something else that happens when you live with responsibility. You stop tolerating nonsense. You stop putting up with lies. You stop wasting time with distractions. You become clear. You become focused. You become intentional. You start protecting your energy. You stop giving attention to things that don't build you up. Because now you're in charge. You're not looking around for someone to fix it. You're building it. You're leading your own life. And here's what I want you to remember. You're not behind. You're not too late. You're not broken. You just have to decide today to take charge. It's not about what's happened before. It's about what you do now. You can start over. You can rebuild. You can change your story. But it starts with you, not your family, not your friends, not your job. Just you. You can say, I'm going to change the way I think. You can say, I'm going to build better habits. You can say, I'm going to face my problems instead of hiding from them. You can say, I'm going to stop blaming others and take full responsibility for my life. And if you say it and mean it and act on it, your life will begin to change. And it won't be perfect. There will still be struggles. There will still be mistakes. But now you'll be the one in control. And that's what matters. You'll be choosing your path instead of drifting. You'll be building your life instead of hoping you'll be working through it, instead of waiting on someone else to fix it. Now, here's the part. Most people miss. Responsibility doesn't feel good at first. It's uncomfortable. It's humbling. It makes you see all the things you avoided for years. But if you stay with it, it will give you something far better than comfort. It will give you strength. It will give you discipline. It will give you real confidence. And it will give you peace of mind. You won't need people to tell you you're doing well. You'll feel it inside. You won't need applause. You'll have progress. You won't need someone to believe in you. You'll believe in yourself. Because now you'll be living with purpose. You'll be walking with clarity. You'll be leading yourself. That's what taking responsibility does. It gives you back your power. And when you have that power, you stop wasting time. You stop settling. You stop making weak decisions. You start asking better questions. You start keeping better company. You start thinking long-term, and little by little, everything starts to change. And let me be honest, it's not going to be easy. There will be days you want to quit. There will be times you feel tired. But if you remind yourself why you started, if you remember what's at stake, if you remember that no one is coming to rescue you, you will keep going. Responsibility makes you strong enough to push through it. It gives you the ability to say, "This is hard, but I'm doing it anyway." It allows you to build a life that's based on real results, not wishes, not hopes, but actual work and effort. And that's what real fulfillment comes from. No one feels proud of blaming others. No one feels fulfilled avoiding problems, but we do feel proud when we show up for ourselves. We feel proud when we take ownership. We feel proud when we clean up our lives and grow into someone we respect. That's what I want for you. I want you to look in the mirror and say, "I'm proud of the person I'm becoming." And that starts right now, not next week, not when it's easier, right now, today. Because today is the only time you can change something. Today is the only time you can take that step. And that first step is saying, "I am responsible." It's not just a sentence. It's a commitment. It's a declaration. It's the foundation of growth. Everything you want. Peace, confidence, progress, clarity. It starts here, right now. With one decision, one mindset, one action. Take full responsibility for your life, not half. Not part all of it. And once you do that, no one can stop you. Because the person who is willing to take responsibility is the person who is ready to rise, ready to build, ready to lead, ready to become more. And once you become more, you attract more, you create more, you experience more, not by accident, but by design, your design. Because you took responsibility, and that, my friend, changes everything. Lesson 2, stop complaining and start taking powerful action. Now stop complaining and start taking powerful action. Now, that's the second lesson, and it's a big one. If you want to make real progress, you have to cut the habit of complaining out of your life. Completely complaining never built anything. It never fixed a problem. It never created an opportunity. All it does is feed frustration, waste energy, and keep you trapped in the same situation. You can't grow if your energy is going into blaming everything around you. You can't build your life while tearing everything else down. With your words, change doesn't begin with noise. It begins with action. People complain because it gives them temporary relief. It lets them feel like they're doing something when they're really just spinning in place. But that short burst of emotional comfort comes at a cost. Every time you complain, you train your mind to stay stuck. You train yourself to focus on what's wrong instead of what's possible. And that mindset turns into a cycle. The more you complain, the less action you take. The less action you take, the worse things feel, and the worse things feel. The more you complain. If you want to break the cycle, you have to stop feeding it. You have to develop a new response instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" You say, "What can I do about this?" Instead of saying, "This isn't fair." You say, "How can I respond in a strong way?" You shift your mind from reaction to responsibility. You stop using your voice to complain and start using it to create direction and make decisions. That's when your life starts to change. Every time you take action, You build strength. You build courage. You build resilience. And here's the powerful truth. Nobody is coming to do it for you. If you sit around waiting for the perfect moment, you'll be sitting for the rest of your life. Conditions will never be perfect. People won't always support you. Life won't always go your way. But none of that matters if you decide to move forward anyway. Complaining feels easy. It doesn't require courage. It doesn't ask you to change anything. That's why most people do it. It's a habit that feels safe. But safety doesn't lead to growth. Comfort doesn't produce strength. Growth begins where complaining ends. It begins when you're tired of being tired. When you're no longer willing to keep having the same conversations about the same problems with no progress. When you start taking action, your life starts moving in a new direction. You begin to gain momentum. Even small steps matter, because small steps stack up. They build character, they create shifts, they move you out of your own way. And suddenly, you're no longer a passive observer of your life. You're an active builder. You're making moves, not excuses. People who complain are often looking for someone to agree with their pain. They want to be heard. They want their struggle to be validated. That's human. That's real. But if you want freedom, you can't stop at being heard. You have to be willing to do something about it. You have to ask yourself, what's one thing I can change today? And then do that not tomorrow, not later today. That's how you escape the noise and step into your power. Some people spend years talking about what's wrong with their life, but they never open a book. They never change their habits. They never confront their fears. They never shift their mindset. They never try something new. You can't move forward if all you do is replay the past action. Is how you build a new future. Complaining only ties you to the one you're trying to escape. It takes strength to stop complaining. It takes humility to admit you've been stuck in a loop. But once you choose to break free, you'll start noticing something powerful. You feel more in control. You feel more clear. You feel more motivated because now your energy is going into doing, not doubting, into effort. Not excuses. And yes, it takes work. It takes daily effort. It takes patience. But if you commit to taking even one useful step each day, the results begin to build. You become more focused. You become more intentional. You stop looking for someone to blame and start looking for something to build. There's another truth that's often hard to accept. Sometimes we complain because we're scared to try. Complaining gives us a way to protect ourselves from failure. If we never try, we never lose. But if you live like that, you also never grow. You never evolve. You never find out what you're capable of. You must be willing to risk failure in order to reach success. That's where action comes in. Taking action is uncomfortable, but it's also necessary. It's the price of progress. You will make mistakes, you will stumble, but you will learn and you will grow stronger. That's something complaining will never offer you. Complaining keeps you the same. Action transforms you. If something bothers you, don't speak about it for hours. Do something about it. If your habits are holding you back, change them. If your environment is draining, you move forward. If your health is suffering, take the first step. If your goals are slipping away, recommit and refocus. Talk less about the problem and put your energy into building the solution. That's how leaders live. That's how builders think. That's how people who want to change their lives move. And you don't need to wait until you feel ready. Most progress happens when you take action. Before the feeling shows up, you act first. Then the confidence comes, not the other way around. You move forward, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Because if you only act when it's easy, you won't grow. But if you move through resistance, you'll build a life you can be proud of. We've all had moments when things felt unfair, when it seemed like life had us cornered. But complaining never made those moments better. What made the difference was action. The decision to rise. Above it, the strength to say, I'm not staying here. The courage to build again from where you are. That's what changes lives. And the best part, it doesn't take a huge move. You don't need to change your whole life overnight. You need one decision. One change in direction, one honest look at yourself followed by one strong move. That's the beginning. That's the turning point, and it's available to you right now. Not after everything is perfect. Not after everyone approves. Right now. You don't have to be the loudest. You don't need to convince others. You just need to prove it through action every day, quietly, consistently, no announcements, just effort. That's where the respect comes from, especially self-respect. You know when you're showing up for your life, and when you're hiding behind excuses, and when you make that shift from hiding to showing up. Everything starts to feel different. You begin to hold your head higher. You speak with more conviction. You walk with more purpose. Because now you're living by decision, not reaction. You're not controlled by what happened. You're guided by where you're going. That's the strength that comes from action. And here's something else to remember. You don't need everything figured out. You just need to be willing to move. Action teaches you what to do next. Action reveals the next step. Complaining only creates confusion. Action creates clarity. So if you feel stuck, don't talk about being stuck. Move your feet, move your thoughts, move your focus. Progress doesn't come from thinking about it endlessly. It comes from doing something. And when you do something, you feel alive. You feel useful. You feel like you're doing your part. That feeling is what builds confidence. That feeling is what wakes you up in the morning with purpose, not because life is perfect, but because you've taken control of what you can control. And that's your energy, your choices, your response. Some people will keep complaining forever, but not you. You're stronger than that. You're smarter than that. You're ready for more than that. The fact that you're even listening, the fact that you're seeking growth means you already know the truth. It's time to take the next step. No one's stopping you. It's not too late. You're not too far behind. You're not lacking anything except consistent action. So stop saying you don't have time. Make time. Stop saying you're too tired. Take care of your energy. Stop saying you don't know how to start learning. Stop saying it's too hard. Get stronger. Stop saying you'll do it later. Do it now. That shift in mindset. That's what separates those who make progress from those who keep talking about it. And I want you to see yourself clearly, not as someone who needs help, but as someone who can help themselves, not as someone waiting for permission, but as someone who gives themselves permission. Not as someone stuck in the past, but as someone committed to building a better future. You don't need to speak about what's wrong anymore. You need to get up and work on what's right. You need to build your health. You need to sharpen your mind. You need to invest in your skills. You need to grow your character. You need to do the things that others avoid. That's how you rise. That's how you win. Complaining gives you attention. Action gives you results. Choose the one that actually improves your life. Choose the one that makes you proud. Choose the one that takes effort and courage, but pays off every single day. That choice is yours, always has been, always will be, and the sooner you make it, the sooner your life begins to change. Take responsibility, take ownership, take action. You've got what it takes. You don't need to wait for another sign. This is your moment, no more talking about what's wrong. No more waiting for things to change. Start making them change. You are more than your circumstances. You are more than your mistakes. You are more than your doubts. You are capable. You are strong. You are ready now. Go prove it through action lesson 3. Choose discipline daily to reach your biggest goals. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to go without it. Even the greatest dreams will collapse under pressure. Discipline is the quiet force that shapes your future when no one is watching. It's the decision you make every day to do what must be done, not what's easy, not what feels good, but what actually moves you forward. You don't need more motivation. You don't need another inspirational quote. You need daily discipline. That's what separates those who achieve from those who only wish you have goals. You have something inside of you that wants to grow, to rise, to reach something meaningful. But those goals don't move themselves. It's not enough to think about them. It's not enough to talk about them. You must work toward them every single day with intention and discipline. And the truth is, discipline is hard. It's uncomfortable. But it works, and it works. Every time you use it, most people wait for the perfect feeling to act. But feelings are unreliable. Some days you'll feel strong. Other days you'll feel tired. That's why discipline matters more than feelings. Because when your mood says stop, discipline says go. When your excuses get louder, discipline gets stronger. It's the inner voice that tells you to get up early, to study when you're tired, to train. When your body says rest, to keep going. When it would be easier to quit, you build. Discipline one decision at a time. You don't need to overhaul your entire life in a day. You just need to keep choosing what's right over what's easy over and over again. That's how habits are formed. That's how progress is built. That's how character is shaped every time you do the difficult thing. Even when no one's watching, you build a stronger version of yourself. There's no shortcut. There's no secret hack. There's no way around it. If you want to succeed in anything, discipline must become a part of your life, and it's not something you turn on and off. When it's convenient, it must be something you live by every day, even on weekends, even on holidays, especially on the days you don't feel like it. That's when it counts the most. Without discipline, you'll start and stop. You'll drift from one goal to the next without completing any of them. You'll make promises to yourself that you don't keep. You'll feel stuck, not because you lack potential, but because you never committed to consistent effort. Discipline ends that cycle. It puts you in control. It helps you earn results instead of waiting for them. People think discipline is punishment. It's not, it's freedom. When you're disciplined, You don't need to panic when life gets hard. You've built strength, you've trained your mind, you've created systems, you've built routines, you know what to do, because you've done it 100 times before. That gives you calm, that gives you confidence, that gives you clarity. Discipline doesn't take away the pain of life. It gives you the strength to carry it. Life is going to test you. You'll face rejection. You'll deal with stress. You'll have setbacks. But when you've trained yourself to be consistent, to push through the hard days, to keep going, no matter how you feel, you don't fall apart. You adapt. You adjust. You endure. And eventually you rise. Think about how many people give up because they rely on motivation. Motivation fades. It comes and goes, but discipline is a choice. It's not something you wait for. It's something you create. You create it by getting up on time. You create it by turning off distractions. You create it by doing the work even when no one else sees the results yet. Your goals are not achieved through one big moment. They are achieved through thousands of small choices. They are achieved through hours of practice, late nights, early mornings, disciplined habits and focused effort. Every single time you choose discipline, you get closer to the life you want. Some people will tell you that you're being too hard on yourself, that you should relax more, that you should slow down. But remember, most people settle. Most people give up. Most people let their emotions guide their actions. If you want a different result, you must live a different way. Discipline is the difference, and it's not about perfection. It's about consistency. You are going to slip up. Sometimes you're going to miss a day. You're going to feel tired. That's normal. But what matters is what you do next. You don't quit. You get back up. You reset your focus. You keep moving. Discipline doesn't demand that you be perfect. It demands that you be committed. And commitment means doing the hard things, even when they don't pay off right away. You might not see results for weeks or months. That's okay. Discipline isn't about instant gratification. It's about long-term growth. You keep showing up because you said you would. You keep pushing because your future depends on it. That's how great things are built. Think about this. Every time you choose discipline, you are planting seeds. Seeds of growth. Seeds of strength. Seeds of resilience. And even if you don't see the results, yet the roots are growing. The foundation is being built. The structure is taking shape. And eventually the results show up. They always do. But only for those who stayed the course. If you want to write a book, it takes discipline to write every day. If you want to build a strong body, it takes discipline to train and eat right. If you want to grow a business, it takes discipline to stay focused, work long hours and keep learning. If you want peace of mind, it takes discipline to say no to distractions and yes to the things that matter. Discipline is not just about doing what's hard. It's about doing what matters most. It's about living in alignment with your values. It's about building a life that reflects your goals, not just your desires. Your biggest goals are waiting, but they will not chase you. You must chase them. You must earn them. And here's what most people don't understand. Discipline creates self-respect. When you keep showing up for yourself, you start to see yourself differently. You stop doubting. You stop settling. You start believing because now you have proof. You have evidence. You've seen yourself follow through. You've seen yourself get stronger. That self-respect changes everything you walk. With purpose, you speak with confidence, you make better decisions, you attract better opportunities. And it all started with daily discipline. It all started with choosing to show up even when it was hard. That's the kind of power you build when you stop making excuses and start making effort. So if you're tired of starting over, if you're tired of feeling stuck, if you're tired of watching others grow while you stay the same, build discipline, do the hard thing. First, wake up earlier, put the distractions away, do the work and keep doing it, even when it's boring. Even when no one sees it, even when it takes time, because nothing valuable comes without effort. No achievement is handed to you. You must earn it. You must fight for it. You must build yourself into the kind of person who can handle the success you're chasing. That's what discipline does. It prepares you. It shapes you. It trains you. And the best part, discipline compounds. The more you use it, the easier it gets. It becomes a way of life. It becomes a part of you. And when it becomes who you are, nothing can stop you. Not laziness, not distractions, not setbacks. Because now you've trained your mind to stay focused. You've built systems that support your growth. You've created habits that drive your progress. So ask yourself right now, what do I want to achieve? What kind of life do I want to live? And am I willing to choose discipline every day to reach it? If the answer is yes, then start now. Don't wait until next week. Don't wait until things are easier. Start today. Start with one strong decision and keep going. One step at a time. One habit at a time. One focused hour at a time. And as the days pass, you'll see something powerful happening. You'll be getting better. You'll be getting stronger. You'll be getting closer. Not because it was easy, but because you were disciplined enough to stay the course. And that's something no one can take away from you. You will become the kind of person who doesn't need to be pushed. Because now you push yourself. You will become the kind of person who follows through, who doesn't break promises to themselves, who shows up, who delivers, who finishes what they start. That person is built through discipline. You don't need more time. You don't need more chances. You don't need more support. You need more discipline. And once you choose it fully and completely, everything else begins to align. Your focus improves your confidence, grows your path, becomes clear because now you're not just dreaming, you're working, you're building, you're becoming. And that's what it takes to reach your biggest goals. Lesson 4. Master your emotions to stay calm under pressure. If you want to grow into the person you're meant to be, you must learn to master your emotions. Not manage them, not bury them, master them. That means learning how to stay calm when everything around you is chaotic. That means choosing how you respond when pressure rises. That means keeping your head clear when others are losing theirs. Emotional control is a skill, and just like any skill, you can develop it. But it takes awareness, it takes practice, and it takes complete honesty with yourself. The truth is, your emotions are not your enemy. They're signals. They tell you when something matters. They tell you when something's off. But they're not supposed to drive your life. They're not supposed to make your decisions. When you let your emotions take over, you start reacting instead of thinking. And the more you react, the more mistakes you make. and one small emotional reaction can destroy what you've worked years to build. We've all seen people lose their temper and say something they regret. We've all watched someone let fear stop them from taking a necessary step. We've seen people panic and make weak decisions under pressure. But what separates those who lead from those who crumble is emotional control. When your emotions run your life, you become a passenger when you take charge of them. You become a leader. Learning to master your emotions starts with awareness. You must pay attention to what triggers you. You have to notice how you respond. In uncomfortable moments, do you shut down? Do you explode? Do you escape? Do you overthink what's your emotional pattern? Because if you don't understand it, it will keep controlling you in ways you don't even see. Pressure will come, stress will come. People will test you. Life will hit you with things you didn't ask for. But that doesn't mean you lose yourself every time something goes wrong. The goal is to respond with strength. Not panic, to respond with thought, not impulse. That's what emotional mastery gives you. Stability, strength, presence, power. It starts in small moments when someone speaks to you in anger. Can you stay calm when something doesn't go your way? Can you keep your balance when you feel fear? Can you still take the next step? These moments decide your future more than any big goal does. Because if you can stay steady in the storm, you can outlast the chaos. If you can stay grounded when others fall apart, you rise. Staying calm doesn't mean you're emotionless. It means you're in control. It means you've trained yourself not to be owned by temporary feelings. You've built the ability to pause, to breathe, to think that pause can save relationships, that pause can protect your reputation, that pause can help you make decisions that change everything. You don't need to suppress how you feel. You need to work through it in a healthy way. You talk to yourself with honesty. You journal, you reflect, you process, but you don't let those feelings drive your actions. That's the key difference. People who have mastered their emotions still feel sadness, anger, frustration, and fear. But they don't let those emotions decide who they become. If you want to build anything meaningful, business, relationships, health, legacy, you must have emotional control. Because the road will not be smooth. There will be rejection. There will be betrayal. There will be setbacks, and if you let every emotional wave knock you down, you won't make it. You'll burn out. You'll lose faith. You'll blame others. You'll quit on yourself. You must become the kind of person who can handle pressure without folding. You must train yourself to sit with discomfort without losing your direction. That's where real power is built, not in perfect conditions, but in uncomfortable ones. Your strength shows when things are uncertain. Your leadership shows when people are watching how you respond. When things go wrong, people don't look at your words. They look at your reaction. They feel your energy. They notice if you stay grounded or fall apart. And if you want to be trusted, if you want to be respected, if you want to be someone others can rely on, you must be consistent with your emotions. Not perfect, consistent, strong, clear to get there. You must become your own observer. Watch yourself. Study your emotional patterns. Learn what triggers your anger. Understand what brings out fear. Know what kind of situations make you feel overwhelmed. That self-awareness is your power. Because once you know your emotional patterns, you can interrupt them. You can pause instead of react. You can redirect instead of explode. That's mastery. It's also about protecting your energy. If you're always reacting, always stressed, always emotional, you burn out. Your mind becomes cloudy. You stop thinking clearly. You start making decisions based on pressure, not wisdom. That's when things fall apart. You must protect your peace, like it's your foundation. Because it is, you protect your peace by setting boundaries. You protect it by walking away from emotional chaos. You protect it by creating habits that calm your nervous system daily routines. Stillness, deep breathing, meaningful reflection, these are not soft tools. They are powerful weapons in the fight against emotional chaos. If you want to be strong, you must be steady. Not rigid, not numb. Steady, grounded, calm under fire. When people around you are panicking, be the one who sees clearly. When emotions are high, be the one who slows down. When everything feels like it's falling apart, be the one who holds it together. Not through force, but through clarity. There's a kind of quiet confidence that comes from mastering your emotions. It's not loud, it's not flashy, but people feel it. You walk differently, you speak differently, you make decisions from a place of stability. You're not chasing peace. You are peace that makes people trust you, that makes people want to follow you. That's real leadership. And here's something else to think about. When you master your emotions, you gain time. You're not wasting energy, overthinking. You're not stuck in drama. You're not recovering from emotional outbursts. You're focused. You're efficient. You're productive. You're building, not spiraling. That gives you an edge. That gives you progress. You also start to treat people better when you're emotionally steady. You stop taking things personally. You stop projecting your pain onto others. You stop reacting from insecurity. Instead, you listen better. You understand more. You create connection, not conflict. That's how relationships are strengthened, through calm communication, through honest emotion, not uncontrolled reactions. Mastering your emotions will challenge you. It's not easy, but it's worth every bit of effort, because once you do it, you don't fear situations anymore. You don't fear failure. You don't fear pressure. You don't fear criticism. You can handle anything, not because it doesn't hurt, but because it doesn't break you. You develop thick skin. You stop being tossed around by every feeling. You start living by choice, not by chance. You respond instead of react. You slow down when it matters. You stay patient when others are rushing. You become the kind of person who builds with strength, not from panic, not from insecurity, but from deep internal control. You gain more control over your time. Your focus, your results, your life starts to reflect this inner calm. Your goals become more reachable. Your progress becomes more consistent. Because now you're not just showing up when things feel good. You're showing up because you've trained yourself to. You start to feel proud. Not just because of what you do, but because of how you handle yourself. You know what you've been through. You know how hard it was not to react. You know the effort it takes to stay balanced. And that builds pride, quiet, earned pride, the kind that no one can take from you. It also makes you unstoppable, because now life can throw things at you and you don't fall apart. You adjust, you breathe, you solve, you lead, you keep going, And when people ask how you're so calm, you'll know it's not luck. It's work. It's practice. It's years of learning how to be still when the pressure is high. You will stand out. Not because you're the loudest or the flashiest, but because you're calm when others panic. You're clear when others are confused. You're balanced when others are emotional. That kind of presence can't be faked. It can only be earned. So keep working on yourself. Keep training your emotions. Keep choosing clarity. Keep choosing patience. Keep choosing stillness. Every time you do, you get stronger. Every time you stay calm under pressure, you grow. And over time, you'll look back and realize you didn't just master your emotions. You mastered your life lesson 5. Focus clearly on your strengths and improve daily. The fastest way to become better is to focus on what you do best and sharpen it daily. The people who rise the highest in life are not the ones who try to be great at everything. They're the ones who identify what they're naturally good at and then make it. Stronger with consistent effort. Strengths are not enough by themselves. A strength that is never improved becomes average over time. If you want to separate yourself from the crowd, you must treat your strengths like they matter. You must protect them, develop them, and give them attention every day. You don't need to fix everything about yourself before you move forward. What you need is clarity. Clarity about who you are. Clarity about what you bring to the table. Clarity about what makes you valuable in the real world. When you know your strengths, you can stop wasting energy trying to be someone else. You can stop comparing yourself to others. You can stop chasing skills that don't belong to you. You can start walking your path instead of copying someone else's. The key is to know where your real value lives. Maybe you're a great communicator. Maybe you can solve problems quickly. Maybe you're good with people. Maybe you have strong focus. Maybe you're a great planner. Maybe you think creatively. Whatever it is, find it, own it, build on it, make it sharper. That's where your confidence will grow. That's where your results will accelerate, because life rewards those who show up with real value. And real value comes from deepening your strongest qualities, but it doesn't happen by chance. It takes commitment. It takes effort. You have to train that strength like a muscle. You have to work on it every day. That means reading books that challenge your thinking. That means practicing the skills that make you better. That means surrounding yourself with people who stretch your standards. It means giving up distractions and replacing them with intentional practice. Your strength becomes powerful when you choose to invest in it daily. And this is not about ego. It's not about thinking you're better than anyone else. It's about being honest with yourself about where your natural talent is and putting serious work into it. So it becomes rare in a world where most people drift. Those who focus with intensity on their strengths become irreplaceable, not because they do everything, but because they do their thing better than most. There's a myth that says you have to fix all your weaknesses before you succeed. That's not true. You don't ignore your weaknesses, but you don't build your life around them either. You can delegate, you can learn enough to not let them slow you down. But your real breakthroughs will come when you spend your best hours building what you already have inside of you. What comes naturally to you when developed with discipline becomes your greatest advantage. You must also stop spreading yourself. too thin. Too many people try to be good. It's too many things. They chase a different paths and end up exhausted with no real progress. You don't need more directions. You need more focus. You need to pour your energy into the few things that can actually move your life forward. That's how strength turns into mastery. That's how clarity turns into results when you make the decision to improve every day. You stop leaving your growth up to chance. You don't wait for someone to come push you. You don't wait for opportunities to knock you. Build yourself into the kind of person that opportunities are drawn to. You start improving your communication skills. You learn how to think more clearly. You improve your time management. You track your results. You review your progress. You stay humble enough to keep learning and strong enough to keep applying. The real change comes when you stop waiting for big wins and start stacking small improvements. If you improve just a little bit each day, % better in your thinking, your habits, your work, then over time, that growth becomes massive. That consistency creates momentum. It builds trust. It builds your reputation. People start to notice your discipline. They start to respect your process and your confidence grows. Not because you talk about it, but because you see yourself getting better. There's something powerful about working on your strengths in private. No applause, no recognition, just quiet, focused effort. The world doesn't need to know what you're building. They'll see it later right now. What matters is the work, the late nights, the early mornings, the repetition, the refining, the constant improvement. That's where strength is shaped, and don't let frustration stop you. Progress is not always visible right away. You might practice your skill for weeks before you feel a shift. You might put in hours without seeing a return. But the return always comes. Growth is slow at first, but once it picks up, it accelerates. The mistake most people make is quitting too soon. They stop improving because they don't feel progress. They let their emotions dictate their effort. But improvement doesn't respond to emotions. It responds to commitment. You must also protect your focus. That means cutting out time wasters. That means saying no to things that don't align with your goals. That means removing anything that drains your energy and gives you nothing back. Focus is not just about what you do. It's about what you refuse to do. You can't go deep into your strengths if you're constantly distracted by everything else, and growth doesn't happen by accident. You must create systems. You must schedule time to practice. You must create space for learning. You must measure what you're doing and adjust when it's not working. That's how you make your strengths something you can rely on, not just something you talk about. The people who win are the ones who treat their improvement like a responsibility, not a hobby. You also need to understand your value in the real world. How does your strength solve problems? How does it serve others? How does it make you useful? Strength without usefulness is just potential. When you take your strength and apply it where it matters, you become someone who's needed, someone who brings solutions, someone who people want to work with. That's how you build, not just skill, but opportunity. You will face resistance. You will have days when you feel stuck. But if you stay consistent, you'll grow past it. You'll see your own thinking change. You'll start responding differently. You'll solve problems faster. You'll become more creative. That's the reward for showing up every day. Not just the external success, but the internal transformation. And don't compare your strengths to someone else's. Everyone is wired differently. You don't need to be good at what others are doing. You need to be excellent at what you were built to do. Comparison only creates confusion. Stay in your lane. Keep improving your lane. Own your space. Even when it feels slow. Keep going even when no one sees your effort. Keep going. Even when you doubt yourself, keep going. That discipline builds something unshakable. It builds a kind of strength that's not just based on talent, but on work, on endurance, on mental clarity, on steady commitment. And as you grow your strength, you'll start to help others more. You'll share insights, you'll lead by example. You'll lift people up, not from a place of pride, but from a place of growth. That's what leaders do. They grow themselves, and then they help others grow. And it all starts with that one decision: to improve daily, to focus deeply, to stay consistent. You will not need to force your way into rooms. Your work will speak your growth, will open doors. Your progress will attract attention. And all of it came from the choice to develop what you already had, instead of wasting time chasing what wasn't yours. Keep going, keep building, keep improving. Even when it's slow, even when it's hard, even when it's quiet, your daily improvement is the greatest investment you'll ever make, and it will always pay off, because no one can take away the person you become through it. Focus on your strengths and never stop getting better. That's how your life transforms. One day, one skill, and one focused hour at a time. Lesson 6. Invest in yourself by learning something new. Consistently, if you truly want to grow, you must make a firm decision to invest in yourself by learning something new every single day. Not once in a while. Not when you feel like it. Not only when life forces you to everyday consistent. Learning is the foundation of self-respect and long-term success. When you make learning a habit, you are telling yourself that your future matters, that your potential matters, and that you are worth the time, energy, and discipline it takes to get better. You have to treat your mind like a garden. If you don't plant something valuable in it every day, something useless will grow there by default, and the world is full of noise, distractions, and low-value information. You don't need more noise. You need depth. You need understanding. You need the kind of learning that stretches your thinking and improves your life in a real, measurable way. Most people stop learning after school. They think they've done enough. They believe learning is only for passing tests or getting a certificate. But learning is not a one-time event. It's a lifelong process. And the people who rise to the top in any field, whether it's business leadership, creativity, or health, are the ones who made learning a personal responsibility. They didn't wait to be told what to learn. They searched, they studied, they asked questions. They read books, they found mentors, they watched how others moved and made it a mission to improve their own understanding. You don't have to wait for permission to get smarter. You don't need approval to start improving your mind. You just need the discipline to do it, even when it's not convenient learning. Something new doesn't always require hours. It requires intention-focused minutes. Learning something useful is more powerful than an hour scrolling through meaningless content. The problem is not time. The problem is priority. You will always find time for what matters to you. If your growth matters, you will study, you will explore, you will dig into what you don't know. The world around you is changing. Fast skills get outdated markets, shift. Technology evolves if you're not learning. You're falling behind, and falling behind in today's world means becoming irrelevant. That's the reality. You can't compete with the future using knowledge from the past. You must stay sharp. You must stay curious. You must stay prepared. You must become so skilled, so aware and so informed that opportunities recognize you before you even speak. When you invest in learning, you become valuable, not just because you know more, but because you can do more. You can solve problems faster. You can adapt to change. You can bring insight to conversations. You can make better decisions. And people notice that leaders notice that your environment starts to shift in your favor. Not because you asked for anything, but because you became someone worth following. Every new thing you learn expands your mind. It helps you see patterns. It helps you understand people. It helps you avoid mistakes. Learning builds mental strength. It sharpens your thinking. It gives you more tools to deal with life. And when life gets hard, and it will, your knowledge becomes your armor. You don't panic. You apply what you've learned. You move with precision because you've prepared for these moments, and you don't need to be in a classroom. The classroom is everywhere. It's in a book, it's in a conversation, it's in a podcast, it's in a mistake you reflect on. It's in a story someone shares. Life teaches all the time. The question is, are you paying attention? Are you writing things down? Are you applying what you learn? Or are you forgetting it as soon as the moment passes? Information is everywhere now. But transformation comes only to those who absorb. Reflect and apply. Just because you heard something doesn't mean you've learned it. Just because you read it once doesn't mean you understand it. Real learning comes from doing the work. Asking hard questions, thinking deeply, and using the knowledge to change something in your life. You must also learn with purpose. Don't just consume information to feel productive. Learn with a goal. Learn something that moves you closer to mastery. Something that helps you overcome a weakness. Something that builds on your strengths. Something that solves a real problem in your life. That's how learning becomes fuel, not just entertainment. Some people say they don't know what to learn. That's only because they haven't looked closely at their life. Where are you struggling? Where are you lacking confidence? What skill, if improved, would unlock a better future for you? Start there. Learn what solves your problems. Learn what increases your income. Learn what protects your peace. Learn what helps you serve others at a higher level, and never think you're too good to keep learning. Arrogance stops growth the moment you believe you already know enough. You start declining. Stay humble, stay hungry, stay open to new ideas. Even if they challenge your current beliefs, that's how you evolve. That's how you grow beyond the limits that others live with. Make it a goal to learn something useful. Today, not tomorrow. Today, build a daily rhythm of learning. Block time for it. Protect it like it matters, because it does. Study topics that build your skills. Listen to people who have done what you want to do. Take notes, reflect, apply, repeat. This cycle creates growth that compounds, and it's not about learning everything. It's about learning what matters. Master a few things, go deep in the areas that move your life forward. Stop trying to know everything about everything. Focus on depth, not just speed. Focus on usefulness, not just novelty. Build a foundation of knowledge you can use, not just recite. The more you invest in yourself, the more confident you become. Because now your self-worth is rooted in preparation. You know you've done the work. You know you've studied the details. You know you've sharpened your thinking. That's real confidence, not the kind that needs validation, but the kind that comes from real effort. And there's a quiet strength in being a learner. You're not reactive. You don't panic in uncertainty. You have mental clarity. You move with intention because you've trained your mind to think, to see patterns, to ask better questions that gives you an edge. Most people don't have learning. Also keeps you young in spirit. It keeps you curious. It keeps your mind flexible. People who stop learning grow bitter. They complain more. They resist change. They live in the past. But people who keep learning stay excited about the future. They see challenges as opportunities. They stay energized. They keep reinventing themselves. You must decide that growth is your responsibility. It's not your boss's job. It's not your teacher's job. It's not your parents' job. It's yours, and the sooner you take it seriously, the faster your life begins to shift. Because now, every day becomes a chance to grow. Every problem becomes a lesson. Every conversation becomes a classroom. Every moment becomes a seed. There will be days when you feel too tired to learn. Learn anyway. There will be moments when you think you already know enough. Keep learning. There will be times when you feel like your growth is invisible. Keep going. You are building something on the inside that will show on the outside when it matters most. Be willing to outlearn everyone around you. Be willing to study when others are scrolling. Be willing to practice when others are distracted. Be willing to stay with a concept until it clicks. Be willing to reread, rewatch, and refine. Because the people who learn deeply end up leading. They end up creating. They end up winning not by accident, but by preparation. Make your daily learning non-negotiable. Whether it's reading, writing, reflecting, practicing, or applying. Do something every day. Keep track of your progress. Celebrate the new ideas you uncover. Share what you learn with others. Teaching what you've learned deepens your understanding and multiplies your growth. This is not about perfection. This is about progress. Not about speed, about direction. Not about pressure, about potential. Every new insight you gain builds a stronger version of you. Every concept you master unlocks new decisions. Every page you read, every question you ask, every skill you improve, it all adds up, it all moves you forward. Don't let a single day go by without feeding your mind. Build yourself from the inside out. Keep growing until growth becomes your identity. And when it does, you'll look back and realize you didn't just learn something new. You became someone new. And that's the real reward of learning. It changes who you are, how you think, how you show up, and what you're capable of doing in this world. That's why you must invest in yourself. That's why you must never stop learning. 7. Accept honest criticism to grow stronger and wiser. If you want to grow stronger, wiser, and more effective in life, you have to learn how to accept honest criticism. Not ignore it, not fight it, accept it. The truth is, you won't grow if you only surround yourself with people who tell you what you want to hear. Progress begins when you're willing to hear what you need to hear. Even when it's hard. Even when it stings. Even when your pride wants to shut it down. That's the point where growth begins. Not when you feel comfortable, but when you face yourself. With honesty, most people fear criticism because it challenges their self-image. They don't want to be seen as wrong. They don't want to feel exposed, but that fear is what keeps them average. If you want to rise above that, you have to stop taking everything personally. Not every piece of feedback is an attack. Some of it is a gift. Some of it is meant to wake you up, not tear you down. You must stop letting your emotions get in the way of your evolution. If you're always on defense, you'll miss the lesson, you'll protect your ego and destroy your growth. You'll build walls instead of wisdom. And in the long run, those walls will trap you. They'll keep you stuck in old habits, outdated beliefs, and a false sense of confidence. You can't improve what you refuse to examine. You can't fix what you deny. And if you're serious about getting better, you must open yourself to feedback, even when it's uncomfortable. Criticism hurts most when there's truth in it. That's why it's powerful. It shows you where you're not aligned with your goals. It reveals blind spots. It makes you aware of things you might not see on your own. And awareness is the first step to change. You can't correct what you can't see. You can't master what you ignore. That's why you need people in your life who are not afraid to tell you the truth. But not all criticism is helpful. That's important to understand. You don't accept everything. You must learn to filter. Ask yourself, does this feedback come from someone who wants the best for me? Is it based on facts or emotion? Is it meant to help me grow or tear me down? Honest criticism comes from a place of truth and growth. It's not about shaming, it's about sharpening. And when you receive it, you must resist the urge to argue. Don't try to explain yourself right away. Don't rush to defend, just listen. Sit with it, think about it, reflect on it. Take the emotion out of it and look for the value. Even if the person delivering it doesn't say it perfectly, there may still be something useful in it. Don't miss the lesson. Because you don't like the way it was delivered. Real growth requires humility. You have to admit that you don't know everything. You have to be willing to say, I was wrong. You have to be strong enough to look at your flaws without running from them. That doesn't make you weak. That makes you responsible. That makes you mature. That makes you serious about growth. The people who are willing to hear hard truths are the ones who improve faster. They don't waste time pretending they face what's real. And because of that, they become better, quicker, and deeper. It's not easy. No one likes being criticized. It can feel like rejection. It can sting. But if you can learn to sit in that discomfort and pull the wisdom out of it, you will separate yourself from the majority. Most people avoid feedback. They avoid mirrors. They want praise, not improvement, but praise. Doesn't build you, feedback does, even tough feedback, especially tough feedback. You also have to build emotional strength, because criticism will test your ego. It will trigger your pride. It will challenge how you see yourself. But if you stay calm and open, you'll notice something powerful. You're becoming less reactive, more thoughtful, more mature. That's what wisdom feels like. That's what emotional growth looks like, and it's earned through honest reflection, not emotional outbursts. You don't grow by ignoring flaws. You grow by fixing them, and sometimes you need others to help you see what needs fixing. That's not weakness, that's awareness. If you shut down every time someone points something out, you'll stay stuck. But if you take it in and use it, you gain a new edge. You level up, you learn faster. And over time, that makes you unshakable. The best performers in any field are coached. They invite critique. They study their mistakes. They hire people to show them where they're off. Why? Because they want to win. And winning requires brutal honesty. Not from the world, but from yourself. It's not the criticism that hurts you. It's the refusal to accept it the longer. You avoid the truth the longer you stay behind. You have to shift your mindset. Stop seeing criticism as a threat. Start seeing it as information data. A tool to become sharper, stronger, wiser, more refined. You're not being attacked. You're being adjusted, and sometimes those adjustments will unlock your next level. Look at the areas in your life where you keep falling short. Maybe it's your discipline. Maybe it's your communication. Maybe it's how you handle pressure. What if someone close to you has tried to tell you the truth and you ignored it? What if your growth has been delayed because you didn't want to hear it? That's a hard question, but it's an important one. If you're willing to listen to, really listen, you'll start noticing patterns. You'll see what you need to fix. You'll begin to grow with purpose, and people will start to notice. They'll see your growth. They'll respect your humility. They'll admire your courage. Not because you are perfect, but because you were open to being better. You must also be willing to ask for feedback. Don't wait for it to come. Seek it out. Ask the people you trust. What's something I need to work on? Ask them directly. And when they tell you, don't get defensive. Say thank you. Write it down. Think about it. That one conversation could shift your thinking forever. You don't have to agree with every piece of criticism, but you should always consider it. Take what's useful, leave what's not, but don't reject it. Without reflection, that's how people stay small. They think they already know, but real growth lives in curiosity, in the willingness to say, maybe there's more I need to understand. And remember, there's no shame in being corrected. The shame is in refusing to grow. The shame is in staying the same year after year, because your pride won't let you hear the truth. You can rise above, that you can become someone who invites truth, someone who values honesty over comfort, someone who chooses growth over ego. That shift in mindset will change your life. You'll grow faster, you'll build stronger relationships, you'll lead better, you'll make better decisions, and you'll become someone others can trust because they know you don't hide from feedback. You welcome it, you use it, you grow from it. You don't need to be perfect, you need to be teachable. You don't need to know everything. You need to be willing to learn. You don't need to protect your image. You need to protect your growth. And the best way to do that is to stay open to feedback that challenges you to go higher. So don't be afraid of honest criticism. Embrace it. Use it. Let it shape you. Let it wake you up. Let it build your awareness. Let it stretch your thinking. Let it break old habits. Let it correct your path. Let it push you forward. That's what it's for. That's why it matters. The strongest people are not the ones who avoid correction. They are the ones who learn from it, grow from it, transform because of it. You have that ability. You have that choice every time you're faced with honest feedback. You are standing at the doorway of growth. You can walk through it or turn away. But remember, growth always rewards the ones who are willing to hear the truth and use it always. Lesson 8. Build genuine relationships by giving more than taking. The strength of your life will often come down to the strength of your relationships. And if you want to build real ones, you must stop focusing on what you can take and start focusing on what you can give. Real connection is never built on selfishness. It's built on service. The most respected, loved, and trusted people are the ones who give value without keeping score. They show up with presence, with care, with support, not just when it's convenient, but because they've chosen to be people of depth and character. You can't fake that. You either live it or you don't in every relationship, personal or professional. The question you must ask yourself is, how can I add value here? What can I do to support this person, strengthen this bond, and help them grow? Because when you focus on giving, you become someone others want to be around people. Remember how you make them feel, and nothing builds trust faster than being consistently helpful, dependable, and generous with your time, your attention, and your effort. You don't need a huge network. You don't need to impress everyone. What you need is a few real connections built on respect, honesty, and mutual care relationships that are grounded, not transactional connections that don't depend on what you can offer today, but are built to last through time, challenge, and distance. That kind of connection doesn't come by accident. It's built day by day through the small things. Being honest, being available, showing up when it's not convenient, listening when it's uncomfortable, and giving without asking what you'll get back. Most people approach relationships with the mindset of, what can I get? They want support, they want praise, they want favors. But they're rarely the ones giving any of those things. And then they wonder why their relationships feel shallow, why they don't last, or why people pull away over time. If you're always looking to receive, you're draining the people around you. But if you flip that mindset and become someone who adds, someone who listens, someone who supports, people will naturally want to be around you. Not because they need something from you, but because they trust you. Giving doesn't mean letting people take advantage of you. It doesn't mean saying yes to everything, or burning yourself out. It means offering your energy with intention, giving your presence, your attention, your knowledge, your care, and your honesty when it matters. When you give it from a place of strength and balance, you lift people up, and in turn, they often lift you. But even if they don't, you become stronger, because giving builds character. It sharpens your understanding of people. It deepens your sense of purpose. You can't build strong relationships if you only show up when you need something. People see through that. They remember who called to check in when things were tough. They remember who was quiet when they succeeded. They remember who helped them without being asked. And they remember who disappeared when there was nothing to gain. Your consistency in giving without expectation is what makes you unforgettable. Genuine relationships require effort. They don't maintain themselves. You have to invest time. You have to communicate. You have to apologize when you're wrong. You have to forgive. You have to celebrate others when they win, even if you're still climbing. You have to be honest, even when it's uncomfortable. That's the kind of work most people avoid. But that's the kind of work that builds something real. When you give more, you also grow more, because relationships stretch you. They challenge your selfishness, they reveal your blind spots, they test your patience. And if you're serious about becoming a better human being, you need those challenges. You need people who can look you in the eye and tell you the truth. You need connections that aren't built on flattery but on growth. Don't be the person who only calls when they need something. Be the person who checks in when there's no reason. Be the person who celebrates others without jealousy. Be the person who gives advice without arrogance. Be the person who offers help without being asked. You don't need a special title to lead in your relationships. Leadership in relationships is about consistency, compassion, and contribution giving also teaches you humility. It reminds you that everyone is carrying something. Even if they don't show it, it reminds you that being kind, being patient, being present, that stuff matters more than most people realize. It reminds you that relationships aren't about winning. They're about growing together. And sometimes that growth comes from being there for someone when they're at their worst, not because you have to, but because you care. If you want your relationships to thrive, you have to make people feel seen. That means listening more than you speak. That means being genuinely interested in who they are, not just what they do. That means making time, even when you're busy. That means remembering the little things. People don't need grand gestures. They need to feel like they matter. And if you can give that, you'll never struggle to keep real connections. Don't expect deep relationships without deep investment. You can't show up once a year and expect loyalty. You can't disappear when someone's struggling and expect closeness. You can't ignore others' needs and then wonder why you feel disconnected. Relationships are a reflection of what you give. If you give distance, you'll get silence. If you give selfishness, you'll get resentment. But if you give time, truth, and trust, you'll get connection, depth, and loyalty in return. The best part is giving in relationships doesn't just benefit the other person. It makes you better. It softens your edges. It strengthens your emotional intelligence. It helps you understand people, navigate conflict, and communicate with clarity. These are life skills, and they're built every time you choose to give. Instead of take every time, you choose to serve. Instead of expect every time, you choose to stay. When things get hard, people often talk about wanting real friends or loyal partners or honest business connections. But the truth is, you attract what you give. If you want real, be real. If you want loyalty, be loyal. If you want honesty, be honest. If you want depth, go deep. The energy you give out in relationships sets the standard. You can't expect what you don't offer. And yes, you will get hurt. You will give to people who won't return it. You will care for people who won't notice. You will support people who leave when they've taken enough. But that doesn't mean you stop giving. It means you become wiser about where you give it. It means you set boundaries. Not because you're bitter, but because you've learned it. Means you keep showing up with integrity. Even if others don't. Strong relationships are not built in a rush. They are built over time through shared experiences, tested loyalty, and earned trust. And if you want those kinds of bonds, you must play the long game. Keep showing up, keep giving your best, keep being someone there. Others can count on it may take time, but the rewards are deep-lasting and life-changing. Giving more in your relationships doesn't mean giving blindly. It means giving intentionally. It means paying attention. It means knowing when to step up and when to step back. It means learning each person's language and showing up in a way that speaks to them. This requires effort. This requires maturity. This requires emotional strength. But it's worth it. You won't remember every detail of every conversation, but you'll remember the feeling people gave you, and they'll remember yours. That feeling, the one built by consistent, giving kindness, truth, and presence. That's what real relationships are made of. That's what people crave. That's what makes life rich. Even when everything else is uncertain. Make it a daily practice to ask yourself, did I give something to someone today? Did I encourage someone? Did I help someone grow? Did I offer patience? Did I show up? Did I make someone feel heard? These questions keep your heart grounded. They keep your relationship strong. They keep you focused on what truly matters. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to care. You don't need to be everything for everyone. You just need to show up with honesty and effort. Relationships are not built on grand performances. They are built on real people, choosing to grow, and stay through the highs and lows. Start giving more. Not because you expect something, but because you've decided that who you are in relationships matters more than what you get from them. Be the person who brings light. Be the person who brings clarity. Be the person who brings strength. And over time, you'll see those same things returned to you, multiplied not by force, but by natural law. You reap what you sow goodness, sow patience, sow support, and let your relationships reflect the kind of character you've chosen to live by. Lesson 9. Cut negative people completely out of your life. There comes a time when you must make a serious decision about who gets access to your life, and if you want to protect your growth, protect your mindset, protect your future, you have to cut negative people out completely. Not limit their access, not tolerate their energy, remove them fully. If someone drains you every time you speak to them, they're not part of your progress. If someone constantly complains, gossips, belittles, manipulates, or doubts you, that person is a weight you cannot afford to carry. And holding on to them out of guilt, fear, or habit will cost you more than letting go ever will. The truth is, your environment shapes your reality more than you realize. If you spend time around people who constantly focus on what's wrong, you start to see the world that way. If you're surrounded by people who make excuses, you'll find yourself doing the same. If your circle is filled with people who mock ambition, you'll eventually lower your goals to match their comfort. It's not just about influence. It's about energy being around. The wrong people will slowly strip you of your belief, your motivation, your standards. And the worst part is, it happens quietly. Negative people don't always scream negativity. Sometimes they smile while planting seeds of doubt in your mind. Sometimes they laugh when you speak about your goals, pretending it's a joke. Sometimes they act supportive, but only when you're struggling. The moment you succeed, they grow cold, distant or passive-aggressive. That's not friendship. That's not support. That's poison. And if you let it stay, it will infect your thinking, your emotions, your choices. You don't owe anyone access to your life. You owe yourself peace. You owe yourself progress. You owe yourself protection from people who don't respect your path. Cutting someone off is not cruel when the relationship is built on disrespect, manipulation, or negativity. What's cruel is allowing yourself to be pulled backward by someone who doesn't care. If you grow, what's cruel is staying small so someone else can feel comfortable. What's cruel is giving your time and attention to people who would never do the same for you. Some people will say, "You've changed," and that's exactly the point. You're not supposed to stay the same. Growth means change. Progress means boundaries. Healing means separation from what harms you. And if someone only liked the version of you that was weak, insecure, or lost, of course they'll resist your improvement, but that's not your burden to carry. Your future is too important to trade for the approval of people who don't support it. Cutting negative people out doesn't always mean conflict. You don't have to argue. You don't need to explain. You don't need closure from someone who was never truly open. Sometimes the best thing you can do is go silent, withdraw your attention, shift your focus. Walk away without making noise. Let your distance speak for you. Let your peace explain your decision. It's not easy, especially when it's someone you've known for years, a relative, a close friend, someone you used to trust. The time doesn't justify disrespect. History doesn't excuse its toxicity. Loyalty is not meant to be one-sided. If someone consistently brings negativity into your space, you must be honest with yourself. How many times have you left a conversation with them feeling drained? How many times have you walked away, questioning your own worth, your own decisions, your own direction? That's not healthy. That's not love. That's not growth. You get one life, one chance to give your energy to the right people. And if you're serious about building something meaningful, you can't carry people who refuse to rise. You can't keep saving people who don't want to be saved. You can't keep trying to fix people who choose to stay broken. That doesn't make you selfish. It makes you smart. It means you finally understand that your energy is a resource, and where you spend it determines what you build. Negative people don't need your help. They need to face the consequences of their own mindset. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is walk away and let them figure it out. You're not their therapist. You're not their savior. You're not responsible for their healing, happiness. You are responsible for your space, your energy, and your growth. And if someone is constantly bringing chaos into your life, it's your responsibility to shut the door. You'll notice something when you distance yourself from negativity. You begin to breathe easier. Your mind becomes clearer. You sleep better. You think sharper. You smile more. You start hearing your own voice again, not theirs. You start trusting your own intuition again. You begin making decisions based on your goals, not their fears. That's what happens when you create space for peace. You get your power back. You remember who you are and don't wait for a major betrayal to make the decision. Sometimes the biggest harm is in the little comments, the subtle criticism, the disguised sarcasm, the constant doubt. These things add up. And over time, they make you question your purpose. Don't ignore that. Don't downplay the way someone makes you feel. If a person consistently makes you feel small, that's not love. That's a warning. You may feel lonely at first. That's normal. Letting go creates space, but that space is necessary. It gives you time to reflect it, gives you room to heal. It allows new energy to enter. And when you stand firm in your decision, you attract people who match your values, people who uplift, support, and challenge you to grow, not people who tear you down when you try to change the people around you, shape your standards. If your circle mocks ambition, you'll lower your dreams. If your friends avoid responsibility, you'll start justifying excuses. If your relationships are filled with drama, your peace becomes a stranger. You don't rise in life by chance. You rise by surrounding yourself with people who want more, live with integrity, and challenge you to be your best. And the first step to finding those people is removing the ones who don't. It's not enough to reduce their access. You have to cut it off fully. Unfollow, stop replying, block if needed. Don't keep the door open for someone who repeatedly walks in and brings chaos every time you allow them back. You reset your growth. You delay your progress. You lose focus. Enough is enough. Make the decision. Be firm. Move forward. Protect your mind like it's gold. Protect your energy like it's sacred. Protect your peace like it's oxygen, because it is without peace. You can't think clearly without energy. You can't build without focus. You can't reach your goals, and the people you surround yourself with will either protect those things or destroy them. Choose wisely. You're not here to convince anyone to treat you right. You're not here to fix someone who refuses to grow. You're here to live with purpose, to build with clarity, to rise with intention. And that means being ruthless about your environment. Ruthless doesn't mean cold. It means committed to your growth, committed to your peace, committed to becoming everything you're capable of. If someone is constantly negative, always critical, never supportive, you must take a step back and ask yourself, why am I keeping this person in my life? Is it guilt? Is it habit? None of those are good enough reasons to stay stuck. You deserve to be around people who bring light, not darkness, people who celebrate your wins and support your efforts. People who speak life into your vision, not death into your ambition. This is your life, not theirs. You don't need their approval. You don't need their permission. You don't need their validation. You need strength, focus, clarity, and courage. And the more you surround yourself with people who drain you, the less you'll have. Of all four, make the choice today to protect your future by filtering your circle. Walk away without fear. Stand tall in your decision. Don't look back. Don't apologize for wanting peace. Don't explain your need for space. Don't shrink your boundaries to fit someone else's comfort. You're not being harsh. You're being responsible. You're doing what's necessary. And years from now, you'll look back and realize that was the moment your life started moving forward. You don't need 100 people. You need the right few, and you'll never find them if you're still holding space for the wrong ones. Clean your environment. Protect your path. Cut the weight and give yourself the gift of peace, clarity, and forward motion. Because the people you allow in will either carry you higher or hold you back. Choose your direction. Then choose your circle to match lesson. Decide clearly, and stick firmly with your choices. Your life will only start to move forward the moment you start making clear decisions and stand by them with full commitment. Every time you hesitate, delay, overthink or second guesses, you weaken your momentum and create confusion inside yourself. Growth requires clarity. Progress demands firmness. The people who rise, the ones who lead the ones who finish what they start. They are the people who decide with purpose and do not allow their emotions to break their decisions when it gets uncomfortable. Too many people live in a constant loop of indecision. They start something sure, pause, halfway switch directions, and then wonder why nothing is working. They lack results, not because they're not capable, but because they never actually choose anything with full commitment. They dip their toes into things, hoping for certainty. But certainty doesn't come before you commit, it comes after you prove to yourself that you're serious. You don't need endless options. You need a firm choice, a direction, a reason. And then you need to follow through when it's not easy. Making a decision is not just about selecting an option. It's about eliminating the distraction of everything else. It's about closing the door on hesitation. It's about standing up and saying, "This is what I'm doing, and I'm going to give it everything I have." The moment you do that, your energy becomes focused. Your effort becomes powerful. You stop spreading yourself thin, trying to keep every door open. You don't need every door. You need the right one. And you need to walk through it fully. The reason most people stay stuck is because they never fully commit to anything. They try a little bit of this, a little bit of that. They stop when it gets hard. They change their minds when things don't feel exciting. But success is not built on excitement. It's built on follow-through. It's built on the ability to show up when no one claps, when progress is slow, when self-doubt shows up. That's when your decision gets tested. And if your decision was half-hearted, you'll quit. But if your decision was made with full clarity and full strength, you'll push through, and that's where the reward is found. You cannot keep changing your mind every time you feel discomfort. You must learn to sit in it, to grow through it, to adjust your actions, but not your direction. If your direction changes every few weeks, your foundation will stay weak. You don't build a strong life jumping from one thing to the next. You build it by choosing one thing and going deep with it, giving it time, giving it patience, giving it all your energy, not looking back every time something else looks easier. You will not get everything right. You will make mistakes. You might even make the wrong decision. But that's not the danger. The danger is never deciding it. All the danger is waiting for perfect certainty and perfect timing. Both are illusions. There will never be a moment where you feel completely ready. There will always be fear. There will always be risk, but strong people move forward anyway. They say, "This is the best decision I can make with what I know, and I'm going to trust myself enough to act on it." You must also stop asking for too many opinions. The more people you ask, the more confused you'll become. Everyone has a different perspective. Everyone sees things through their own experience. If you build your life based on everyone else's advice, you'll never feel settled. Learn to trust your own voice. Learn to sit still with your thought. Learn to weigh your options. Make the call and move forward without needing everyone to agree. Your clarity must come from within. Once you make the decision, your job is not to constantly rethink it. Your job is to act on it, to build around it, to create structure, to hold yourself accountable. That's how discipline is formed. That's how confidence is built. Confidence doesn't come from feeling ready. It comes from seeing yourself stay committed when you say you'll do something, and then you do it. You gain trust in yourself. And over time, that trust becomes unshakable. You'll always be tempted to quit. You'll always be tempted to second guesses. That's normal. That doesn't mean the decision was wrong. It means you're human, but strong humans don't give power to those thoughts. They acknowledge them and keep moving. They stay focused on the reason they started. They stay grounded in their choice, and eventually that strength becomes part of their character. You must understand the cost of indecision. Every day you spend sitting on the fence is a day you could be building. Every hour you spend debating in your mind is an hour you could be practicing, creating, learning. Growing indecision steals your energy. It creates anxiety. It drains your focus, and over time, it leads to regret. Not because you chose the wrong thing, but because you never chose anything fully. If you want to take control of your life, start with your decisions. Don't be careless with them. Think clearly. Think long-term. Think in alignment with your values. But once the decision is made, lock it in, commit to it. Fully move with it. Grow with it, improve as you go, but don't stop. Don't hesitate. Don't look back every few steps. That kind of focus will separate you from everyone who's still debating. You'll never build momentum if you keep resetting the plan. Start building in and let the momentum grow. Adjust your strategy, but not your purpose. Evaluate your methods, but not your mission. Stay flexible with the how, but firm with the why. That's the mindset that wins. That's the approach that builds strong results every time. You avoid making a decision. You teach yourself that hesitation is acceptable, but hesitation kills opportunities. It keeps you in the same place while others pass you by. Not because they were smarter, but because they were faster to commit. You must become a person of action. A person who decides and follows through. That's how you gain respect, not just from others, but from yourself. It's also important to remember that real strength is not found in always being right. It's found in owning your choices. If something doesn't work, you adjust, you learn. You move forward with wisdom, but you never let fear of failure stop you from deciding. You never let fear of judgment paralyze your direction. You take the risk. You stay grounded and you deal with the consequences. That's how leaders live. That's how builders think. Your time is too valuable to waste on back and forth thinking. Decide, then act, then evaluate, then improve. That cycle will carry you far. But it starts with clarity. It starts with saying, "This is where I'm going." And refusing to let doubt pull you in every direction. Doubt is natural. But decisions are stronger if you feed the doubt. It grows. If you feed the decision, it strengthens. When you meet people who live with focus and purpose, it's not because their lives are easier. It's because they decided who they wanted to be. They cut off the options that didn't align. They weren't perfect, but they were clear. And that clarity gave them an edge. Because while everyone else was questioning and waiting, they were moving, they were building, they were becoming. Let today be the day you stop overthinking and start choosing. Let today be the day you stop waiting for someone to tell you it's okay. You know what you need to do. You know what direction is calling you. You know what kind of life you want to build. Make the decision own it, live it, let your actions reflect it, let your focus protect it, let your consistency prove it. And when things get hard, don't run, don't switch paths, just because it's difficult. Difficulty is part of the process. Growth is part of the reward. You're not supposed to have everything figured out. You're supposed to stay grounded while you figure it out. That's the difference between those who rise and those who stop. One group pushes through confusion. The other lets confusion stop them. You get to decide which group you belong to. Make your choices count. Don't choose based on pressure. Don't choose based on trends. Choose based on truth. Your truth, what matters to you, what drives you, what aligns with your values. That's how you build a life that feels right. Not just from the outside, but deep within. That's how you sleep at night, knowing you're moving in the right direction. Even if the road is difficult, strong. People don't chase perfection. They chase progress. They don't wait for the perfect plan. They make a good one and act on it. They don't collapse under pressure. They stay steady. They don't avoid risk. They manage it, and they do it all because they made a decision and stuck with it. That's the kind of clarity that builds legacies. That's the kind of commitment that makes history start. Now, decide who you want to become. Decide what you will no longer tolerate. Decide what matters most and don't look back. Keep walking even when it's slow. Keep building even when you're tired. Keep believing even when it's quiet. The people who keep going are not the ones with the best plans. They are the ones who decided and refused to turn back. And when you look back a year from now, years from now, you'll see the difference, not just in what you achieved, but in who you became. You'll see the strength, the clarity, the character you built, not by accident, but by decision. So decide and don't. Break your word to yourself. Your future depends on it. Lessen conquer your fears by facing uncomfortable situations daily. Fear does not disappear by waiting. It does not shrink by ignoring it. It does not dissolve just because you want it. Gone fear only loses its grip when you stand in front of it and move anyway. If you want to live with confidence, strength, and freedom, you have to learn to face uncomfortable situations every single day. Not once in a while, not when you're forced into it daily. That's how fear weakens. That's how courage is built. Not in your head, not through motivational words, but through action. When you'd rather run the other way, most people live inside an invisible prison built entirely from fear. Fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of being seen, fear of speaking up, fear of not being good enough. And so they build routines around avoiding discomfort. They walk the same paths, speak to the same people, stay in the same roles and limit themselves not because they lack talent, but because they obey fear that life looks safe on the surface, but it eats away at your potential. Every time you back down from something that challenges you, you train your mind to believe you're not capable. And the longer you obey fear, the more believable that lie becomes. The only way to break it is through direct confrontation. You don't wait until you feel brave. You don't wait until the fear disappears. You act while it's still present you step forward with shaky hands. You speak with a racing heart. You try even when doubt fills your mind. That's what separates those who rise from those who stay stuck. The ones who grow are not fearless, they're just willing to take action before they feel ready. They know that on the other side of fear is the strength they're looking for. And the only way to get there is through facing uncomfortable situations. Doesn't have to mean jumping into extremes. It means doing the things that stretch you just beyond your current level. It means starting that difficult conversation. Instead of avoiding it, it means applying for the opportunity you've been talking yourself out of it. Means showing up to the room where you don't feel ready. It means saying yes when everything inside you wants to say no, just to stay safe. These small acts done daily create powerful internal shifts. You don't have to do something massive today. You just have to do something that scares you a little, and tomorrow you do it again. The truth is, fear is not the enemy. It's a signal. It tells you where the edge of your growth lives if something scares you. But it also matters to your future. That's exactly where you need to go. Fear will try to convince you to wait, to prepare more, to think about it a little longer. But that voice isn't trying to help. It's trying to keep you still. And if you listen, your life will shrink. Not because you didn't have a chance, but because you didn't take it. There is no easy path to building confidence. The only real confidence is earned, and you earn it by doing hard things. You earn it by walking into fear over and over again, until you stop seeing it as something that controls you when you face what you fear. You prove to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. That truth rewires your self-image. It changes how you see yourself. It's not about being fearless. It's about becoming stronger than the fear. And don't expect applause for doing the uncomfortable. Most of the time, no one will see what you're fighting through. No one will understand the effort it took just to show up. But that's okay, because the reward isn't in the recognition. It's in the person you become through the process. Every time you take a step into discomfort, you take a step toward your future. You sharpen your focus. You build mental toughness. You develop emotional resilience. These are traits that cannot be faked. They are earned through struggle, through showing up when it would be easier to back down. There's a powerful kind of peace that comes from knowing you're not running anymore. That peace doesn't come from comfort. It comes from facing fear and doing the hard thing anyway. It comes from looking at something that once scared you and realizing it no longer has power over you. That transformation is not a switch. It's a series of decisions. Every time you act with courage, even when you're scared, you weaken the fear. And if you do it daily, it eventually disappears. Not because the challenge is gone, but because you're no longer afraid of it. You cannot become strong without struggle. You cannot become wise without mistakes. You cannot lead others until you've learned to lead yourself through fear. So stop waiting for things to feel easier. Stop waiting for the fear to shrink. Step into it, challenge it. Let it teach you. Let it shape you. Let it push you to become more. And yes, you will fail. Sometimes you will fall. You will say the wrong thing. You will feel awkward, uncomfortable, even embarrassed. That's part of it. Growth is messy. Progress is built on discomfort. The goal is not to avoid those moments. It's To walk through them and keep going, you don't need perfection. You need courage. You don't need guarantees. You need effort. You don't need to feel confident. You need to act with commitment. The people who change their lives are the ones who made fear their training ground. They didn't run from it. They studied it. They walked straight into it, and with every step they got stronger. They stopped asking, "What if I fail?" and started asking, "What can I learn?" If I try that shift, changes everything, because now fear becomes fuel. It becomes direction. It becomes the signpost that shows you where the next level of your life begins. You have to ask yourself, how long are you willing to stay stuck in the same place, just to avoid feeling uncomfortable? How many opportunities have you missed because fear told you to sit still? How many times have you let someone else's opinion keep you from speaking your truth? At some point you have to decide that enough is enough, that staying small hurts more than trying and failing. That the pain of staying the same is heavier than the discomfort of growth. You were not born to live cautiously. You were not built to hide from life. There is strength inside you that you haven't even accessed yet, not because it's missing, but because it's waiting for you on the other side of action. Every uncomfortable step you take becomes proof that you're becoming someone new, and that proof builds belief, and belief drives everything. Start today. Choose something small that scares you and do it. Speak the truth. You've been holding back. Take the action you've been avoiding. Say yes to the thing you keep telling yourself you're not ready for. Face the moment. Step into the challenge and do it again tomorrow. Let that become your way of life. Not just a one-time event, a daily habit, a commitment to fear facing. You'll look back in a few months and realize that the things that once felt overwhelming now feel normal. You'll see how your confidence has grown, not because someone gave it to you, but because you earned it through consistent action. You'll see how your courage has evolved not through ease, but through effort. That's the kind of growth that lasts. That's the kind of power that can't be taken away. So stop running, stop hesitating, stop doubting. Fear will always be there, but it doesn't have to own you. It doesn't get to decide your life. You do. And if you want to live with strength, clarity, and purpose, then make fear your signal, not your master. Let it show you where you need to grow. Let it guide you towards your next step. And then take that step, no matter how small. No matter how shaky, take it again and again, until the fear breaks and your life expands beyond anything you thought possible. Lessen, speak less, listen more, and understand people deeper. If you want to connect with people, grow strong relationships, and lead with clarity, you need to speak less and listen more. It's one of the most powerful decisions you can make, not just for your communication, but for your personal growth. Most people talk too much. They interrupt, they respond before they understand, they speak to be heard. Not to connect, but those who learn to listen, not just with their ears, but with their full attention, gain a deep advantage in life. Listening opens doors. It builds trust. It reveals what others are really saying beneath the words. It helps you see people, not just hear them. When you slow down and give someone your full attention, you're not just being polite, you're being present. You're creating space for understanding. You're telling that person, you matter enough for me to pause my world and enter yours, disdain. That act builds influence without needing to raise your voice. It earns respect without demanding it. People don't remember most of what you say, but they always remember how you made them feel. And when you truly listen, people feel seen. There is a difference between hearing and listening. Hearing is passive. It requires no effort. But listening is active. It takes patience. It demands focus. It means being willing to let go of your desire to speak, just so you can absorb what the other person is trying to express. And sometimes what they're saying isn't in their words. It's in their tone, their eyes, their hesitation, their silence. If you're too busy waiting for your turn to talk, you'll miss all of that. You'll miss the meaning behind the message. You'll walk away with surface-level understanding and wonder why your connections feel shallow. People open up to those who don't rush to fix, respond, or dominate the conversation. They open up to those who allow silence, to those who stay curious, to those who genuinely want to understand. Not just reply. That kind of listening is rare. And that's why it's valuable. It requires that you care more about learning something than proving something. It requires that you hold your ego back long enough to make space for someone else's truth. It's not about being silent. It's about being intentional. You learn more by listening than by speaking. You grow faster. You become sharper. You avoid mistakes. You learn how people think, how they feel, what they need. You pick up on details that others miss. And in every area of life, from leadership to business to relationships, those details matter. They make you more effective. They give you insight. They help you see what's really going on. When others only see the surface, speaking too quickly, too often, or too loud can weaken your presence. The more you talk without listening, the more noise you create, and noise pushes people away. But quiet confidence draws people in. A calm presence, a thoughtful pause, a few well-placed words after deep listening. That's what earns respect. That's what gives your words weight when you speak less. The words you do speak carry more power. They land deeper. They come from clarity, not reaction. In a world filled with distraction, and noise-focused listening becomes a superpower. It sets you apart. It creates deeper human connection. It helps you understand people in ways that data never could. You learn not just what people say, but why they say it. You start to notice patterns. You start to pick up on fears, hopes, insecurities, and dreams. You begin to build emotional intelligence, not through study, but through presence. Listening also changes your thinking. When you listen deeply, you stop assuming. You stop reacting based on surface-level impressions. You learn how to ask better questions. You realize how often people say things they don't mean, or mean things they don't say. You become more aware of nuance. You stop thinking in black and white. That kind of growth expands your influence, not just with others, but within yourself. Too many people lose opportunities, relationships, and respect simply because they don't listen. They dominate every space they enter. They always need the last word. They mistake volume for influence. But true influence doesn't need to shout. It doesn't need to overpower. It's built through presence, awareness, and empathy. And the foundation of all three is deep listening. There is wisdom in restraint when you speak less. You give others a chance to reveal more. You let them show you who they are. You let them speak through their experience, not just your assumptions. And in that space, trust grows, understanding grows, and your own wisdom deepens. Because every person you meet knows something you don't. Every story carries a lesson you haven't heard yet. And if you're too busy speaking, you'll miss it all. Listen, not just to respond, but to understand. Listen even when you disagree, especially when you disagree. That's how you learn to think outside your own perspective. That's how you become someone who leads with empathy. Not just logic, because not everyone needs advice. Not everyone is asking for a solution. Sometimes they just need to feel understood, and the moment they do, something powerful happens. Resistance lowers trust, rises, and connection begins. When you listen more, you also gain clarity with yourself. You become more aware of your own thoughts, habits, and emotional triggers. You begin to observe instead of react. You start to understand your own patterns. And with that self-awareness, you make better decisions. You stop talking your way into stress. You stop arguing over things that don't matter. You learn the value of silence, the strength of patience, the power of timing. You also protect your energy. Speaking drains energy. Listening preserves it. When you always feel the need to talk, to convince, to impress, you exhaust yourself. But when you listen, you learn. You recharge. You gather insight before action. And when you do speak, you do it from a place of strength, not emptiness. Listening isn't about being quiet all the time. It's about knowing when to be quiet and why. It's about choosing silence, because it serves the moment. It's about creating space so others can step in. It's about holding your words until they serve a purpose. That kind of intentional silence is not weakness, it's wisdom. Learn to read between the lines. Learn to hear what's not being said. Listen, not just with your ears, but with your eyes, your heart, and your intuition. People are always communicating, even in silence. But you'll only catch it if you're present enough to notice, and that level of awareness comes through practice. Daily, disciplined, focused listening. Don't rush to speak just to fill the space. Let the silence breathe. Let the conversation unfold. Let the person finish, then respond with care. Respond from clarity, not emotion. That kind of communication builds respect. It strengthens relationships. It reduces conflict. It creates space for truth. The more you listen, the more you grow. And the more you grow, the less you need to prove you. Don't feel the urge to dominate every discussion. You don't need to win every debate. You start speaking with intention instead of impulse. And that shift makes you more powerful. Not because you say more, but because you say what matters. Practice it daily in conversations. Pause before replying. In conflict, listen. Without preparing your defense in meetings, hear the full message before adding your input at home. Listen with empathy, not judgment. In your friendships, let people speak freely without feeling corrected. This is not weakness. This is growth. This is maturity. This is strength. Let go of the need to impress. Let go of the urge to be the loudest. Let go of the habit of speaking before understanding. Replace it with curiosity, with patience, with genuine interest in others. When you understand people deeper, you stop judging them by surface-level behavior. You start seeing the story behind the action. You become a better partner leader, friend and human. Speaking less and listening more is not about silence, it's about substance. It's about choosing connection over control. It's about valuing truth over opinion. It's about growing deeper roots in a world obsessed with noise. And if you can master that, you'll build something rare: relationships that last, respect that grows, and wisdom that multiplies with time. All because you chose to stop talking long enough to understand lesson. Develop powerful habits by repeating positive actions daily if you want. To take control of your life, you need to take control of your habits not once in a while, not when it's convenient. Every single day, the quality of your life always reflects the quality of your habits. And your habits are not just actions. They're decisions you make without thinking. That means if you're not building the right ones, you're building the wrong ones by default. And those small daily decisions are either building your future or quietly destroying it. If you want to get better, if you want to become stronger, if you want to make progress that actually lasts, you must repeat the right actions again and again until they become part of who you are. The strongest people you see aren't relying on motivation to push them forward. They're relying on structure, on repetition, on habits that work, even when they're tired, even when life gets hard, even when the mood is gone. That's what separates discipline from wishful thinking. Positive habits are not exciting, they're not loud, they're not flashy, but they're powerful because they don't disappear when life gets messy. They stay, they carry you, they build momentum, and that momentum compounds every single day. You choose to stay consistent. You don't have to change everything overnight. You just have to commit to repeating a small, useful action each day. Something that moves you forward. Something that strengthens your mind, sharpens your focus, or improves your health. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a simple one. You can repeat. That's what turns effort into identity. It's not about intensity. It's about consistency. Because what you do occasionally will never compete with what you do. Daily, people often chase big results without realizing that all meaningful growth is built in the small moments. The way you start your morning, the way you respond to stress, the way you handle distractions, the way you treat your body. These things matter more than a single burst of motivation. They shape who you become. If your habits are weak, your results will always be unpredictable. But if your habits are strong, your life becomes stable. You don't have to think about it, you just live it. That's the power of repetition. When you repeat positive actions daily, you stop relying on emotional highs. You don't need to feel like it. You just do it because it's who you are now. That shift creates freedom. Most people are trapped in a cycle of doing what feels good instead of doing what's right. But the ones who build powerful habits have made a different choice. They've decided that their future matters more than their mood, that their health matters more than convenience, that their peace matters more than comfort. Habits are not built by setting goals. They're built by setting systems. Systems are the routines you follow when you don't feel like pushing, the structure you create that keeps you moving. The plan you rely on that doesn't ask for permission from your emotions. And once those systems are in place, you free up energy to focus on what matters most. You stop wasting time trying to get motivated, and you start using that time to build something meaningful. You don't need perfect conditions to begin. You need commitment. You need to show up. Even if it's not pretty. Even if you're tired. Even if it's slow. Every time you repeat a positive action, you make it easier to do it again tomorrow. And if you do it again tomorrow, it becomes part of your routine. If you keep doing it, it becomes who you are. Not something you try, but something you live. Repetition builds identity. Every time you follow through, you send a message to yourself. I am someone who follows through. Every time you complete the habit, you prove to yourself that you're capable. And the more proof you collect, the more confident you become. You don't have to convince yourself that you're disciplined. You have the evidence. You don't have to wonder if you're improving. You can see the results, and all of that comes from doing the small things. Well, again and again, there's no shortcut to powerful habits. You can't fake consistency. You either show up or you don't. But the good news is, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be honest. If you miss a day, get back on track. Don't lie to yourself. Don't make excuses. Don't pretend it doesn't matter. Own it. A just return to your routine. One missed day doesn't break the habit. Quitting does. The longer you repeat the right actions, the less effort it takes. Your brain starts to automate the behavior. You don't have to think about brushing your teeth. You just do it. You don't need to argue with yourself about showing up. You're already moving. That's the magic of habit. It turns hard decisions into automatic behavior. It removes friction. It saves energy. It creates room for growth. And this isn't just about productivity. This is about living a life with direction. Without habits, your day is ruled by emotion, distraction, and impulse. You'll waste hours on things that don't matter. You'll drift instead of decide. You'll react instead of build. But with habits, your life gets structure. You become intentional. You start directing your energy instead of leaking it everywhere. That difference creates results. When you develop powerful habits, you start to believe in yourself again, not because you've achieved everything, but because you know you're showing up. You know you're doing your part, and that belief builds strength. You feel calmer, you feel focused, you feel aligned, because you're not living in chaos anymore. You're not making the same mistakes on repeat. You're building a foundation. You must choose your habits carefully. Everything you repeat becomes part of you. If you repeat complaining, it becomes your identity. If you repeat procrastination, it becomes your pattern. If you repeat discipline, it becomes your power. What you allow becomes your standard, and your standard shapes your results. Don't let weak habits shape a strong life. Build better patterns. Start now. Keep going even when it's hard. Choose habits that support your vision. Choose habits that sharpen your mind. Protect your body, strengthen your relationships, and expand your thinking. Write your goals and match your habits to those goals. Ask yourself, what does the version of me I want to become? Do every day. Start doing those things, even on a small scale. Then keep doing them. That's how you close the gap between where you are and where you want to be. And don't wait for motivation. Motivation is a spark, but habit is the fire. Motivation fades. Habits stay. Build the system. Follow the process. Let discipline carry you when the excitement wears off. You won't always feel like it, but that's why you need habits. They carry you through the days when your feelings try to stop you. Track your progress. Celebrate consistency. not perfection. Reward yourself for staying on course. Notice how your thinking changes. Notice how your energy improves. Watch how your results compound, and remember, it's not about doing it once. It's about doing it every day. The power is in the repetition. You'll look back one day and realize how far you've come, not because of one big decision, but because of thousands of small ones, not because of one dramatic moment, but because of daily quiet commitment. That's how greatness is built. That's how confidence is formed. That's how discipline becomes identity. By repeating what works every day without excuse. Start now. Don't wait for a better time. Choose one small habit that matters. Keep it simple. Make it count and commit to doing it daily. Then build on it. Add another, create a rhythm, stick to it. Protect it and watch your life begin to transform. Not by accident, but by design. One habit a day, time one day at a time, one strong decision at a time. That's how powerful habits are built. And once they're built, they take you further than motivation ever could lessen. Reject excuses completely and always. Take full ownership. Nothing will keep you stuck longer than making excuses for why your life isn't where it should be. The moment you make an excuse, you hand your power to something outside of yourself. You say, "I'm not responsible." And as soon as you do that, you also say, "I can't change this." Because you can't change what you don't take ownership of. If you want your life to move in a new direction, the first thing you must do is reject every excuse and take full ownership of your habits, your decisions, your results, your mindset, and your future. Ownership isn't a theory. It's a personal decision to stop blaming and start building excuses. Feel comfortable in the short term because they remove pressure. They give you a story that explains your inaction. They let you feel safe for another day. But that comfort is dangerous because it blocks growth. It turns days into years. And over time, you wake up stuck in the same cycle, wondering what happened. You'll say, "Life is unfair." But what's really happening is you gave your authority to your excuses. You believed them. You repeated them. You protected them. And they returned the favor by keeping you average. The truth is simple. If you want to change your life, you have to stop making excuses. All of them, not just the ones that are easy to see, but the ones you've been telling yourself for so long. You've started calling them facts, things like, "I don't have time." "It's not the right moment," people. Like, "Me don't succeed, it's too late for me." None of those are facts, they're choices. You can find time. You can create your moment. You can rise above your story, but only if you stop defending the lie and start standing up for your potential. People waste years waiting for better circumstances, but life is never going to line up perfectly. Things will always be messy. You'll always be busy. Something will always feel like it's missing. The people who succeed are not the ones who have the best conditions. They are the ones who say, "I'm responsible anyway." They don't blame the economy, their past, their upbringing, or their situation. They wake up, look in the mirror, and say, "If this changes, it starts with me." That mindset creates transformation. It forces you to grow, because now you're not just thinking about improvement. You're acting on it. You're not waiting for change. You are change. That's the power of ownership. It puts the focus back where it belongs, on what you can do, on what's in your hands, on what you can control today. Taking ownership doesn't mean you blame yourself for everything. It means you take full responsibility for how you respond, how you show up, and what you choose to build. Going forward, it means you stop waiting for someone else to fix it. You stop hiding behind circumstances. You stop expecting a lucky break you become. The reason your life improves, not a lucky break, not a miracle, not someone else's approval. When you live this way, your excuses start to lose their grip. You stop saying, "I can't," and start asking, "How can I?" You stop focusing on the problem and start looking for the next step. You stop identifying with your past and start building towards your potential. This doesn't happen overnight. It happens one honest decision at a time. Start by calling yourself out when you catch yourself justifying. Failure stop when you hear yourself blaming someone else. Pause when you hear that little voice say, "I'll do it tomorrow." Recognize it as the voice that's been stealing your time silence. Replace it, say, "No, I do it now. I own it now. I move now." That level of accountability builds trust, not just with others, but with yourself. You can't respect yourself if you keep lying to yourself. And every excuse is a small lie, dressed up as a reason when you say, "I didn't have time, but you spent hours on distractions." That's not time. It's choice when you say, "No one helped me." But you never asked for help. That's not isolation. It's pride when you say, "It's too late," but you still wake up breathing. That's not truth, it's fear. If you want respect, replace the lie with ownership. Say what really happened. Admit what you avoided. Then get to work fixing it. That's where real strength is built. Not in comfort, not in blame, in brutal honesty when you say, "I haven't done what I said I'd do, but I'm changing that right now." That's strength. That's maturity. That's the mindset of a builder, a finisher, a leader. You don't need to explain yourself to the world. You need to prove yourself through your actions. And that begins when you stop making space for excuses. Ownership means showing up when you're tired, following through when it's not convenient, saying no to distractions, even when they're tempting, facing failure, and using it as feedback, adjusting when your plan doesn't work, staying disciplined when no one's watching and not once blaming the world for what you chose not to do. You want progress. This is the path. It's not loud, it's not flashy, but it works every time. When you take full ownership, you become immune to victim thinking. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What can I do about it?" That question gives you power. It gives you clarity. It opens up options. It shifts your focus from problems to solutions. And when you live in solutions, you make progress faster than anyone who's still sitting around waiting for someone to save them. People who make excuses may win sympathy, but they never win respect. Respect is earned by those who stand up, own their mistakes, and keep pushing forward. Respect is earned by those who take hits and don't blame others, by those who fall and rise without complaint, by those who accept the reality, adjust their behavior, and move forward with strength. That's the kind of person others follow. That's the kind of person others believe in. And most importantly, that's the kind of person who starts to believe in themselves. Every area of your life will improve when you remove excuses. Your health, your work, your relationships, your finances, your self-respect. Not because things magically get better, but because you stop waiting and start doing. You stop blaming and start building. You stop explaining and start executing. That's what ownership gives you. It clears the noise. It raises the standard. It shifts your focus to what actually matters, your behavior, your consistency, your mindset. You will make mistakes. You will fall short. But that doesn't mean you need to hide it. It means you take responsibility. Fix what you can and move forward better than you were yesterday. Excuses keep you focused on shame. Ownership puts your attention on solutions. And when your mind is on solutions, growth becomes automatic. Don't settle for being almost committed. Don't live in the middle between trying and blaming. Pick a side. Either you run your life or it runs you. Either you own your choices or you live with regrets. Either you face the truth or you hide in stories. There is no neutral. Every day, you either build strength or build excuses. The difference is who you choose to be. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be real, honest, focused. You need to stop pointing fingers and start asking yourself what you can improve. Not later, not next week, now. That decision made over and over again creates the person who becomes unshakable. And that person wasn't born with more talent, more opportunity, or more luck. They just decided to stop running and start owning everything. If you want a better future, stop explaining why you haven't. Stop blaming your surroundings. Stop waiting for approval. Take the first step, and then take another. If it doesn't work, adjust, but don't stop, and don't talk yourself out of progress. With old excuses, they've already taken enough from you. Ownership gives you options. Excuses take them away. Ownership gives you direction. Excuses keep you lost. Ownership creates growth. Excuses protect weakness if you want power. Choose ownership if you want freedom. Choose ownership if you want to build something that lasts. Choose ownership. And the best part is, this decision is always available. No matter where you are, no matter what you've done, no matter how long you've avoided the truth, you can choose it. Now, you can say, I've been running, but I'm not running anymore. You can take back your voice, your time, your future. All it takes is one decision, no more. Excuses, full ownership. And once you make that decision, your life will never be the same. Lesson. Save money wisely and spend on experiences that matter. Most people work hard to earn money, but very few learn how to manage it wisely. They spend more than they save. They buy things to impress others. They chase short-term pleasure instead of building long-term peace. If you want to live a meaningful and secure life, you must learn to save your money with intention and spend it on experiences that truly matter. Not on trends, not on impulse, not on what looks good on the outside, but feels empty on the inside. The way you handle your money reveals how you see your future. If you spend carelessly, you are not thinking beyond today. But if you save wisely, you are choosing to protect your future self from struggle and regret. Saving money is not about being stingy. It's about being smart. It's about learning the difference between value and noise. Not everything that's available deserves your money. Not everything advertised will improve your life just because you can buy it. Doesn't mean you should. People fall into financial traps. every day by chasing convenience, status, or comfort. But those things fade. What stays are the habits you build. And your financial habits either work for you or against you every single day when you save consistently, even small amounts. You create freedom. Freedom from panic when emergencies hit. Freedom from debt. Freedom from depending on others. Freedom from living paycheck to paycheck. It's not about how much you earn. It's about how you manage what you keep. You can earn 6 figures and still be broke if your spending has no discipline. And you can earn modestly and build wealth if your saving is intentional. Start by being brutally honest about where your money goes. Every dollar you spend is a vote for the kind of life you're building. If most of your money goes to things that bring no growth, no peace, no meaning, you're silently saying yes to a future filled with stress and emptiness. Saving is a signal to yourself that you care about tomorrow. It's a way of saying, I'm not living recklessly anymore. I'm planning, I'm preparing, I'm choosing security over impulse. But don't just save blindly. Save with purpose. Save with goals. Save because you have a vision for your life that requires resources, not regrets. Whether it's a home, a business, a trip that opens your mind, an investment that builds passive income, whatever it is, your money needs to be directed by your values. Without direction, your money gets wasted without purpose. You'll keep spending to fill emotional gaps. Instead of using your money to grow, people often think experiences have to be expensive to be meaningful. That's not true. The most valuable experiences are not always the ones with the highest price tags. They're the ones that leave you changed, the ones that create memories, the ones that teach you something. Real spending on experiences that matter means putting your money into moments that expand your life. Not just decorate it. A concert with someone you love. A class that improves your skills. A solo trip that clears your mind. A retreat that resets your focus. A dinner that deepens a relationship. These things stay with you long after the moment is gone. You don't need more things. You need more meaning. People who spend carelessly often do it to escape. They shop to feel better. They buy to impress. They upgrade for validation. But none of those habits lead to peace. You don't need to show anyone how much you have. You need to show yourself that you're growing, that you're in control, that you know the difference between looking rich and being free. Freedom is not loud. It's quiet. It's knowing you're prepared. It's knowing you're not trapped by your own choices. It's knowing you don't have to say yes to every offer because you've already made decisions that protect your peace. Set financial boundaries and stick to them. Don't buy out of boredom. Don't spend because it's trending. Don't justify expenses that don't serve you. Learn to say no. Learn to wait. Learn to walk away. That's financial strength, and it's built the same way physical strength is built through discipline, through small decisions repeated daily, through clarity about what matters most. Start tracking everything. Not to be obsessive, but to be aware you can't fix what you don't measure. Most people think they're not bad with money until they look closely. But when you see where every dollar goes, you'll start making better choices. You'll stop spending without thinking. You'll stop making excuses. You'll start asking yourself, does this move me closer to the life I want or further away? question alone can change your financial future build. The habit of saving automatically pay yourself first before you buy anything. Before you pay bills, set something aside, even if it's a small amount. Treat saving as a priority, not an afterthought. Don't wait until there's money left over. There's rarely anything left over when saving is optional. Make it non-negotiable. And once that habit is locked in, you'll start to feel stronger. Not because you're rich, but because you're responsible. Learn how money works. Learn about interest. Learn about investments. Learn how to build assets. Learn how to protect what you earn. Don't avoid financial literacy because it feels overwhelming. Your ignorance costs you more than your effort ever. We'll read, ask questions. Start small knowledge compounds the same way money does. The more you know, the more confident you become in every decision you make. Cut expenses that add nothing to your life. Cut subscriptions you don't use. Cut trips that leave you drained. Cut habits that burn your income and leave you with regret. That's not sacrifice, it's strategy. And with that saved money, start redirecting it toward experiences that fuel your soul, your learning, your relationships, and your legacy. Use your money to grow, not just to consume. Buy books instead of gadgets. Pay for mentors instead of distractions. Fund experiences that expand your mind, instead of ones that just waste your weekend. Money is a tool. It's not the goal. It's not your worth. It's not your identity. But when used wisely, it can help you create a life of peace, strength, and freedom. And when used carelessly, it can trap you in stress, insecurity, and dependence. Don't wait until you're older to figure this out. Start now. Every dollar you respect becomes a brick in the foundation of your freedom. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional. You will make mistakes. You will spend on the wrong things. Sometimes that's part of the learning, but the key is to reflect, adjust, and keep moving forward with more clarity than you had before. The goal isn't to hoard. It's to use your money in a way that serves your life, not distracts from it. But be wise. Give to others, but don't forget to give to your future. Enjoy life, but don't build a life that only feels good today and falls apart tomorrow. Learn to live below your means so you can live above stress. Learn to save with intention so you can spend with meaning. Learn to delay temporary pleasures for permanent peace. You don't need to wait for more money to start practicing wisdom. You can start today. Save a little, spend less on things. Choose experiences that feed your mind and heart. Create a lifestyle that reflects purpose, not pressure. That's what financial peace looks like. Not having everything, but knowing what to do with what you have. And remember, your peace is not for sale. Your future is not a game. Your money is not just currency. It's a reflection of your discipline, your focus, and your vision. Protect it. Use it with care and spend it where it counts, on growth, on healing, on wisdom, on real moments, because those are the only things that stay. Everything else fades, but the way you choose to live, grow, and give, that stays with you for life. Lessons show gratitude openly to increase your inner happiness. Most people go through life searching for more, without realizing they're already surrounded by things. They once wished for the house, they live in the people. They know the opportunities they have, the strength they've built. But because they've never learned to express gratitude openly, they stay disconnected from the joy those things could bring. If you want to increase your happiness, your peace, your sense of meaning, then you need to stop overlooking what's right in front of you. You need to speak it. Feel it, share it. Gratitude is not a weak emotion. It's one of the most powerful choices you can make every day to raise your energy shift, your focus, and calm your mind. Gratitude isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing to find what's still good, even when things aren't. When you train your mind to see value in the ordinary, you start creating happiness from the inside instead of chasing it on the outside. You stop needing everything to go your way, just to feel at peace. You stop waiting for something big to happen to feel alive. You begin to feel connected to life just as it is, because you finally notice what's already working. When you hold your gratitude inside and never express it, it starts to fade. You begin to take things for granted. You start treating people like they owe you, something you stop appreciating your progress. That quiet dissatisfaction grows, and even when good things happen, you can't feel them fully. But when you start speaking gratitude out loud, writing it down, showing it through your actions, you bring life back into what was becoming dull. You remind yourself of what really matters. You shift your energy from lack to presence. You wake up to the value of the moment you're living. Start simple. Say thank you more often, not just when someone gives you something, but when someone gives you time, patience, help, care, or even honest feedback. Say it when it's unexpected. Say it when it's uncomfortable. Say it when it's long overdue. You don't need a special occasion to show appreciation. Every moment is a chance to let someone know they've made a difference in your life, even in a small way. Don't just feel grateful. Act like it. Let your words reflect it. Let your actions show it. Write a message. Make a call. Speak it face to face. Let people hear the truth while they're still around to hear it. So many people wait too long to express how they feel. They wait until someone's gone or until it's too late. But gratitude delayed is a moment missed. Say it now. Let it be heard. Let it matter. Your inner peace depends more on your perspective than your position. If you keep focusing on what's missing, you'll always feel empty, even if you gain everything. But if you focus on what's present, you can feel content even when things are uncertain. That shift doesn't happen by accident. You have to train yourself to see the good, to speak it, to feel it deeply, to give thanks for what's small, consistent, and easy to overlook. Gratitude strengthens your relationships. It removes resentment. It softens tension. It builds connection. When you let others know they're appreciated, they feel seen. And when people feel seen, they give more love, deeper trust, easier. One moment of real appreciation can restore years of distance. One sentence of sincere gratitude can rebuild something that was falling apart. Most people don't need more gifts. They need more presence, more truth, more thankfulness. That's how hearts stay open. Gratitude also builds resilience. When life gets hard, the mind wants to spiral. It wants to focus on pain, loss, fear, and regret. But gratitude pulls you back. It doesn't erase the pain. It gives you something to hold on to. It reminds you that even now, there's something left, some strength, some love, some peace, some beauty. Gratitude keeps you grounded when everything feels unstable. It tells you you're still here, you're still breathing, and there's still something worth fighting for. Make it a daily practice, not once a year. Not only when life feels good every day before you speak. Think about one thing you're thankful for before you go to sleep. Reflect on something that went right before you complain. Pause and shift your view before you criticize someone. Remember something they did for you. These tiny shifts build a mindset of strength. And that mindset makes you powerful. Not because life is easy, but because you know how to hold joy and difficulty at the same time. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring what needs to change. It means changing with perspective. It means growing without forgetting how far you've come. It means pushing forward while still honoring the people and moments that helped you get here. You can want more, while still being grateful for what you have. In fact, the more grateful you are, the more motivated you become to take care of what's good and improve what needs work. Don't let your silence make people question their worth. Say it, show it. Speak life into the people around you. Let your family know they matter. Let your friends know you value them. Let your team know you see their effort. These moments create connection, and connection is the root of real happiness. The world moves fast, but gratitude slows it down. It makes space for what's real. It gives you a chance to appreciate the journey, not just the destination. Be grateful for your struggles too. Not because they're fun, but because they shape you. They teach you, they make you stronger, wiser, sharper. Look at the hard moments and ask, what did I learn? What did I gain? How did I grow? That's how you turn pain into power. That's how you keep moving with purpose. Your life becomes richer when you notice what you already have. When you look around and say, this is enough and I can still grow. Gratitude doesn't take away your ambition. It gives it depth. It makes you work not from lack, but from love. Not because you hate where you are, but because you respect yourself enough to build on it. Don't hide your appreciation. Don't act like it's weak to be thankful. It's the strongest thing you can do. It lifts your mind. It softens your heart. It changes the atmosphere around you. Gratitude doesn't need to be poetic. It needs to be real. Speak it raw. Speak it clearly. Speak it while you can. When you're grateful, you stop comparing. You stop measuring your life by someone else's progress. You stay in your lane. You focus on your path. You honor your own pace because you're not chasing a feeling anymore. You're creating one inside daily, quietly, through appreciation. Gratitude makes you more generous. You realize how much you've received and you want to give back. You want to support and want to share. You want to lift others. That's how happiness expands, not by collecting more, but by giving more from a place of fullness. The more grateful you become, the more you start to overflow. And that overflow blesses the people around you. You don't need perfect circumstances to be thankful. You should need awareness, you should need presence. You should need to slow down long enough to notice the things that matter, the people who stayed, the progress you made, the strength you've built, the moments of peace. The quiet wins, they're there always. But you have to look for them, and when you find them, name them, speak them, share them. That's how you build real happiness. Not by chasing the next thing, but by recognizing what's already here. Gratitude anchors you. It reminds you of your foundation. It keeps you from drifting into emptiness. It brings you back to what's real, and when you live from that place, everything begins to feel different. Not because life changed, but because your view of it did. So speak your gratitude daily. Let it be seen, let it be heard. Let it shape the way you walk through life, not just quietly in your head, but openly with your words and actions. Make it part of who you are, and you'll carry joy wherever you go. Not because everything's perfect, but because you've learned to see the beauty in what's already yours. That's real strength, that's deep happiness, and that's a life worth living lesson. Live healthy now to have the energy you need. Most people wait until something goes wrong with their health. Before they take it seriously, they push their body to the limit. They eat without, thinking they sleep when they crash, and they move only when they have to. And then when their energy is gone, when their mind is tired, when their body starts sending warning signs, they wish they had done it differently. But you don't need to wait for that moment. You can choose to live healthy now. Before you're forced to, you can take care of yourself. Not just to avoid sickness, but to gain strength, to build energy to feel alive every day. Because no matter what goals you have, no matter what dreams you're chasing, if your health is failing, your progress will always be limited. When you feel good physically, you think clearer, you make sharper decisions, you communicate better, you show up with more presence. Energy isn't just something you need to exercise. It's something you need to live fully. And that energy doesn't come from luck. It comes from discipline, from the choices you make daily, what you eat, how you move, when you sleep, what you avoid. It's not about being perfect. It's about being aware. Your body responds to your habits. And over time, those habits either support your life or steal from it. Living healthy doesn't mean going on a strict diet or chasing unrealistic goals. It means treating your body with respect, giving it what it needs, not what feels good for the moment, drinking water instead of energy drinks, choosing real food instead of processed garbage, getting up to move, even when it's easier to sit, saying no to what harms you and yes to what keeps you strong. These choices matter, not just because they change your appearance, but because they sharpen your mind and increase your capacity. When your energy is low, your patience runs short, your focus slips, your motivation drops, you feel irritated, you doubt yourself more, you lose the drive to pursue your goals. And often this isn't a mindset issue, it's a health issue. If your body's tired, your mind suffers. You can't separate the two. If you want mental clarity, you need physical strength. If you want emotional balance, you need physical care. Taking care of your body isn't a side project. It's the foundation. People say they don't have time to be healthy. But the truth is, when you're unhealthy, everything takes longer. You move slower, you recover slower, you work slower, you lose hours to fatigue. You get distracted easily. You spend time fighting off the effects of poor choices instead of building the life you want. Living healthy saves you time. It gives you more hours with clarity, focus, strength, and drive. That's not a sacrifice, that's a strategy. Start by moving every day, even a short walk. Even simple stretching your body is designed to move when you don't. It gets stiff, it gets Sluggish movement wakes it up. It gets your blood flowing, clears your head, and brings you back into your body. It's not about punishing workouts. It's about consistent movement. Make it part of your routine. Treat it like a meeting. You can't miss fuel. Your body don't just feed it food, is fuel. What you put in affects how you perform it, affects your brain, your energy, your mood. If you eat garbage, you'll feel like it. If you skip meals and survive on caffeine and sugar, your system crashes. Your energy dips, you become reactive instead of intentional. But when you eat to nourish, when you eat for strength, your body gives back, it works with you. Not against you. Rest is not laziness, it's repair. It's renewal. It's how your body rebuilds. Sleep is one of the most underrated tools for health and high performance. When you sleep well, your mind resets your body, recovers your emotions. Stabilize. If you're always tired, your decisions suffer. Your focus fades, you lose passion. Don't wear sleep deprivation like a badge of honor. You don't get extra credit for burnout. You get results from showing up. Rested, ready, and sharp. Watch what you consume. Not just food, but information. Your mental health is tied to your physical health. If you're constantly feeding your brain with negativity, drama, or distraction, your nervous system stays on high alert. You feel anxious, you feel drained. Limit what doesn't serve you. Choose what brings you calm, clarity, and motivation. Your brain needs peace just as much as your body needs fuel. Health also includes how you breathe, how you handle stress, how you treat your environment. Shallow breathing, constant tension, toxic spaces. These things will wear you down. Pay attention to them. Breathe deeply. Create space for stillness. Protect your peace. Like it's your energy source, because it is stress, kills energy. It burns through your focus. You must learn how to manage it, how to reset your system daily, so it doesn't control your actions. The people who sustain success, who lead with strength, who keep showing up, they're not just focused on goals. They're focused on energy, because energy is what sustains effort. Without it, even the best strategy falls apart. You don't rise through hustle alone. You rise through alignment. And alignment includes taking care of your body like it's part of your mission. Because it is stop waiting for motivation to start. Start anyway. Build momentum. Let your body feel what strength feels like. Let your mind wake up to what clarity feels like when you treat yourself with care. You build self-respect. You prove to yourself that your life matters, that your time is valuable, that you are worth effort, and that mindset becomes your fuel. It's not about being the fittest. It's about being ready, being steady, being focused when others are crashing. You're clear when others are panicking. You're calm because your health gives you an edge. It keeps you grounded. It allows you to push when needed and recover when necessary. That balance is where your power lives. You don't need a gym. You don't need supplements. You don't need fancy gear. You need a decision. You need to start where you are, with what you have right now. Walk, breathe, drink water, eat with intention, sleep with purpose, move your body, protect your peace. These simple steps done daily change your life. They build strength from the inside out. Don't treat health like an option. Treat it like a standard. Don't treat energy like a luxury. Treat it like a requirement. Every choice either builds or breaks that energy. And when you realize that you stop negotiating with bad habits, you stop justifying harmful routines, you start choosing differently, not because you're trying to be perfect, but because you're trying to be ready for the life you're building. And make no mistake, your goals will require energy, your vision will demand it, your relationships will need it. You can't give your best to the world. If you're running on empty, you can't show up for others. If you're neglecting yourself, you can't build something meaningful from a body that's barely getting by. Strength is not built in theory. It's built through practice, through care, through showing up for yourself every single day. And no one else can do it for you. No one else can eat for you, move for you, sleep for you, protect your health for you. This is your responsibility. And that responsibility is a gift because it means you're in control. You don't have to wait. You don't have to hope. You can choose. Right now, one step, one habit, one commitment at a time. Live healthy now. Not because you're afraid of getting sick, but because you want to live fully. Because you want to lead with strength. Because you want to show up with energy. Because you want to enjoy your time instead of just surviving it. That's what health gives you. Not just years, but quality. Not just survival, but vitality. Not just a body that functions, but one that carries your mission with strength and stability. You get one body and one mind, one chance to use it well. Respect it. Take care of it. Don't wait until it breaks. Build it now. Strengthen it now. Fuel it now. And let it become the engine that drives everything you want to do. That's the path to lasting energy. That's the foundation for a focused, purpose-driven life. And it starts with how you treat yourself every single day. Lesson: always tell the truth, no matter the consequence. Telling the truth is one of the hardest things to do. In a world that constantly rewards appearances, people beat you every day, not always with bad intentions, but because they're afraid. Afraid of being judged, afraid of losing respect, afraid of causing conflict, afraid of facing consequences. So they choose the easier route. They tell half-truths. They hide what matters. They say what others want to hear. But what they don't realize is that every time they choose a lie, they lose a piece of themselves, and over time, those pieces add up. Their integrity weakens, their confidence fades, their relationships become hollow, and their life drifts further and further from what's real. When you always tell the truth, no matter the consequence, you build something inside that no one can take from you: self-respect. Because even if things go wrong, even if people disagree, even if the truth costs you something, in the moment you know you stood with honesty, that clarity builds inner strength. It gives you peace when others live in chaos. It gives you direction when others are lost in confusion. It helps you sleep at night, knowing you didn't betray yourself. To please someone else, telling the truth doesn't mean being cruel. It means being clear. It means refusing to fake, pretend, or manipulate. It means facing life with your eyes open and your heart strong. There will be moments when telling the truth feels risky, when silence feels safer, when a small lie seems harmless. But you must ask yourself, what kind of person am I becoming if I keep avoiding honesty? If I keep building my life on things that aren't real? The truth may cost you something now, but a lie will cost you everything later. People say they want the truth, but most can't handle it. That's why so many avoid saying it. But your job is not to protect people with lies. Your job is to be honest with yourself and with others. If the truth hurts, let it hurt. Because sometimes pain is the only way growth begins. People don't grow from fake comfort. They grow from real conversations, hard moments, uncomfortable truth. If you care about someone, you'll be honest with them, not to bring them down, but to help them rise. You also need to be honest with yourself. That's where truth begins. Stop pretending you're okay when you're not. Stop telling yourself you'll change. When you haven't committed, stop blaming others when you know it's on you. Stop saying you're doing your best when deep down you know you're playing it safe. That kind of honesty stings, but it's the only way forward. You can't change what you won't face. You can't grow from what you keep denying. Truth builds trust, and trust is the foundation of every strong relationship. When people know you're honest, they know they can count on you even if they don't agree with everything you say. They'll respect you. They'll value your words. They'll come to you for real answers. Because honesty is rare. It's easy to be liked when you say what's popular. But real respect comes when you speak the truth. With consistency and courage, there's a cost to every lie. Even the small ones, they pile up. They create pressure. They force you to remember what you said and who you said it to. They create distance. They destroy clarity. And the worst part is, they always come out, and maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but the truth always finds its way to the surface. And when it does, the damage is often worse than what would have happened if you just told the truth from the beginning. Being honest doesn't mean sharing everything. It means not pretending. It means not hiding the things that matter. It means standing up for what's right. Even when your voice shakes. It means living in a way where your words match your actions, where people don't have to guess who you are or what you believe they know, because you've shown them, because you've said it, and because you've lived it. Truth doesn't need to be defended with force. It defends itself over time. When people lie, they have to constantly cover their tracks. They have to hide, pretend, edit. But when you live with honesty, you're free. You're not always looking over your shoulder. You're not wasting energy on maintaining a false image. You're focused on what matters, on growth, on progress, on living with purpose. Even if the truth costs you relationships, jobs, or opportunities, it will always reward you with something more important: alignment, peace, self-rust. When you're honest, you can look in the mirror without shame. You can walk into any room without fear of being exposed. You can speak without second-guessing yourself. That kind of confidence doesn't come from being liked. It comes from being true. Don't let fear keep you silent. Don't let comfort keep you fake. Don't let pressure shape your words. Speak truth, because it's the only thing that lasts. Lies crumble under pressure. Truth stands even when people leave, even when the outcome isn't what you hoped for. The truth will carry you forward with strength, and the right people will stay. The right people will respect it. The right people will be drawn to your honesty, not because it's easy, but because it's real in every situation. You have a choice. Stay silent to keep the peace, or speak truth to build something real. Pretend to protect your image, or be honest to protect your character. Choose ease now and pay later, or choose courage now and build strength that lasts every time you choose truth. You become stronger, sharper, clearer, and more in control of your life. People who lie often feel like they're controlling the situation, but in reality, they're giving control away, because now the lie controls them. They have to protect it. They have to keep up appearances. They have to live with the fear of being found out. But when you tell the truth, you control your choices, you accept the consequences, you walk with dignity. It's not always easy. You'll be misunderstood. You'll be challenged. You'll face resistance. But you'll also grow. You'll also rise. You will become someone others can rely on. Someone others trust, someone who lives from the inside out. Not for applause, but for integrity. And when you make truth your standard, it shapes everything. It changes how you lead, how you love, how you work, how you grow. You stop tolerating lies in your environment. You stop playing along with fake conversations. You stop accepting half effort, half truth, half living. You raise your standard, and in doing so, you raise your life. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to know everything. But you do have to be honest. You have to be willing to face hard truths and speak them with strength. That's the mark of real maturity. That's the foundation of real growth. So live with truth, speak it, stand by it. Don't water it down. Don't twist it to please people. Don't hide it because it makes others uncomfortable. Let your words reflect your values. Let your truth define your presence, and let your honesty be the reason people trust you, follow you, and grow with you. The world needs more truth, not polished perfection, not fake positivity. Real words, real strength, real people who are not afraid to live, aligned with what's right even when it costs them something. Be that person every day, in every moment, with every choice. Tell the truth, no matter the consequence, because your integrity is worth more than comfort, and your future is worth more than any lie lesson. Forgive others quickly and release yourself from resentment. Forgiveness is not a gift you give to others to excuse their actions. Forgiveness is a decision you make to set yourself free. People hold on to pain for years, replaying moments, conversations, betrayals, and disappointments, like a movie that never ends, and every time they replay it, they relive it. They stay stuck, they stay angry, they stay wounded, they think holding on protects them. But all it does is poison them slowly. If you want real peace, if you want real clarity, if you want your life to move forward with strength, you have to forgive quickly, fully, and without dragging it out. Not because they deserve it, but because you deserve freedom. Resentment will rob you of energy. It will cloud your focus. It will harden your heart and weaken your spirit. It doesn't just affect your emotions. It affects your health, your sleep, your patience, your perspective. It will follow you into rooms where the person who hurt you isn't even present. You'll find yourself reacting to situations not based on what's happening now, but based on the pain you haven't let go of. That's how powerful unresolved bitterness is. And if you don't release it, it will continue to write the story of your life without your permission. Forgiving quickly doesn't mean what they did was right. It doesn't mean it didn't matter. It means you're refusing to let it define your mood, your future, or your worth. It means you've decided that your energy is too valuable to spend on anger. It means you're choosing strength over spite, growth over grudges, peace over punishment. Because at the end of the day, carrying resentment is like dragging weight through every season of life, and no matter how strong you are, that weight will eventually break you down. If you don't let it go, you cannot live fully with a heart full of hate, even if it's quiet, even if it's hidden. That anger leaks into your attitude. It shapes how you treat others. It hardens your ability to trust it, builds walls where there should be connection. And the saddest part is the person who hurt you often moves on with their life while you're the one still hurting. Forgiveness doesn't change what happened, but it changes what happens next. It gives you back control. It helps you heal. It opens your future again. Most people wait for an apology to forgive. But if your peace depends on someone else's apology, then you've given them the key to your emotional freedom that's not power, that's prison. You don't need closure from someone who never cared enough to take responsibility. You don't need an explanation from someone who may never see what they did. You don't need anything from them. What you need is honesty with yourself. What you need is to say, "This hurt me, it changed me, but I'm not going to carry it anymore." You release it for your own good. You release it so your mind can be clear, so your heart can be soft again, so your life can move without dragging old pain into new seasons. The faster you forgive, the faster you rise, and the longer you wait, the more you suffer. That's not punishment, it's a choice. And every moment you hold on to the story, you're choosing to relive the damage. Forgiveness ends the loop. It's not a feeling, it's a decision. And sometimes you'll have to make that decision more than once, especially when the wound is deep, especially when the memory comes back. But each time you forgive, you get stronger. You remind yourself that healing matters more than history, that your future is too important to keep tied to people who didn't value you, that your peace isn't worth trading for pride. Don't confuse forgiveness with reconciliation. You can forgive someone without letting them back into your life. You can release the pain without rebuilding the connection. Some people are not meant to stay. Some doors need to stay closed. But forgiveness lets you close those doors with peace, not bitterness. It helps you walk away, clean, not broken, not bitter, just free. You also have to forgive yourself, the choices you made when you didn't know better, the things you said out of fear, the opportunities you missed, the moments you stayed too long. Stop punishing yourself for who you were. That version of you was doing the best they could with what they knew. Now you know more. Now you see clearer. Use that wisdom to move forward, not to shame yourself, but to grow. Forgiveness is the foundation of emotional strength. It's not weakness. It doesn't make you soft. It makes you powerful, because anyone can stay angry. That's easy. Anyone can hold a grudge. That takes no skill, but to rise above it, to let go, when you have every reason to stay bitter. That takes maturity. That takes control. That takes a different kind of strength. The kind that builds lasting peace. You'll know you've truly forgiven when the memory no longer controls your emotions. When you can remember without the tension. When you can think of them without the need for revenge. That doesn't happen all at once, but it begins with the choice to release. And you can make that choice right now. You can say, I'm done carrying this. I'm done holding this pain like a badge. I'm ready to heal. Speak it. Write it. Pray. Let it out of your system. Tell yourself the truth, what happened, how it affected you, and then let it go. It may take time, but the decision happens in a moment, and every time you choose to let go, you take a step closer to your full strength. Letting go doesn't mean you lose it. Means you win it. Means you stop living in a past that cannot be changed. It means you start building a future that reflects your values, not your wounds. It means you show yourself that your joy matters more than your anger, that your freedom matters more than your pride. You weren't meant to carry bitterness. You weren't built for resentment. You were designed to grow, to give, to create, to love. But none of those things thrive in a bitter heart. You cannot move forward if you're still holding on, and you don't have to wait for the perfect moment to let it go. The perfect moment is right now. Look at the people who hurt you and say, you don't control my peace anymore. Look at the situation and say, you don't get to take more from me. Look at yourself and say, I forgive you and I'm moving forward with grace. Don't let your life be shaped by a moment someone else created. Don't build your future around what they broke. Build it around what you've learned. Build it around the strength you've gained. Build it around the peace you've chosen. That's how you rise. That's how you reclaim your power. So, forgive fully, quickly, without needing anything in return. Let your freedom matter more than your pride. Let your healing matter more than your anger. Let your growth matter more than the story. And every time resentment shows up, remind yourself this no longer belongs here. You get to decide how heavy your heart feels. You get to decide how long you carry the pain. And you get to decide when it's time to let it go. Make that decision. Now choose peace. Choose clarity. Choose the life that resentment can never give you. And step into the strength that only forgiveness can create. Lesson: take massive action immediately without waiting for approval. Nothing changes until you take action. And not just slow, safe, small action, but massive action. Bold steps, real effort, immediate movement, the kind of action that forces growth, demands attention, and breaks you out of waiting mode. Most people spend their lives stuck in planning, preparing, and waiting for the perfect moment to move. But that moment never comes. Conditions never line up perfectly. The approval they're waiting for never arrives. So they stay exactly where they are, full of potential, full of ideas, but with no results to show for it. If you want to live a life of meaning and strength, you have to stop waiting and start moving. The only way forward is through action. And the faster you begin, the faster you grow. Waiting for approval is one of the biggest traps people fall into. They want someone to say, it's okay. They want permission to start. They want validation before they've earned it. But life doesn't work that way. You don't need someone to clap for you before you act. You don't need to be noticed before you begin. You don't need someone to agree with you before you take the first step. You don't need anyone's permission to improve your life. What you need is a decision you decide, and then you move, not in a week, not after you feel confident, not when the fear goes away. Now massive action means you're done thinking about it. You're done overanalyzing. You're done letting fear run your schedule. It means you're willing to look messy, to fail to figure it out as you go, because you understand that results only follow action. There's no shortcut around it. There's no theory strong enough to replace experience. You can read, learn, plan, and dream, but until you execute, nothing changes your life. Stays the same. Your habits stay the same. Your mindset stays the same, because nothing happens without action. Every goal you have is waiting on the other side of action. Not more vision boards, not more motivation videos, not more brainstorming sessions. Action, doing the thing, starting the project, showing up to the gym, making the call, having the conversation, writing the page, launching the idea, taking the step you've been putting off, and doing it with urgency. Not recklessness, but urgency. Because the longer you wait, the more doubt builds. The longer you hesitate, the more fear grows. The more you delay, the harder it becomes to move. You gain confidence by acting before you feel ready. You gain clarity by doing, not by thinking. You figure out what works by trying, failing, adjusting, and repeating. You don't need a perfect plan. You need consistent, courageous effort. Action is how you build momentum. And momentum is how you change your life. It makes the hard parts easier. It makes the next step clearer. It removes the mental clutter and replaces it with the direction-taking, massive action. Doesn't mean being reckless. It means being decisive. It means saying, I don't have all the answers, but I'm moving anyway. It means trusting your instinct and your vision more than other people's opinions. Because if you keep asking for approval, you'll always find someone who doubts you. You'll always find someone who tells you to wait, to slow down, to play. It's safe, and if you listen, your life will shrink to fit their fears. You don't owe anyone an explanation for taking action on your goals. You don't need to justify your effort to people who aren't building what you're building. You don't need their support. You need your own commitment. Most people won't understand your urgency until they see your results. So, don't wait for them to catch up. Move first. Let your results speak for you. You also have to stop asking for signs. Everything doesn't need to line up. You don't need confirmation from the world. You need discipline. You need fire. You need to stop hesitating every time something feels unfamiliar. Massive action requires you to break patterns. It requires you to disrupt your routine. It pulls you out of comfort and into growth. And that transition will never feel easy, but it will be worth it. The more action you take, the less fear controls you. Because fear feeds on inaction. It grows in silence. It multiplies when you wait. But once you move, fear starts to lose its voice. Every step you take proves that you're stronger than your doubt. Every move you make weakens the grip of hesitation. That's why immediate action matters. It cuts through fear before fear takes root. Massive action also builds identity. Every time you move, you tell yourself, this is who I am now. You're not just someone who thinks, you're someone who executes. You're not just someone with a dream. You're someone who's building it. That shift in identity changes everything. You stop needing external motivation. Because now your behavior is driven from within, you become a person of momentum, of movement, of mission. That's how winners are built. You won't feel ready. That's part of the process. You won't have all the answers. You'll doubt yourself. You'll feel exposed. But that's exactly where transformation happens. In the doing, in the trying, in the risking. You become stronger. not by staying safe, but by moving through fear with focus. No one becomes great by staying comfortable. No one becomes confident by waiting. Confidence comes from doing what you said you'd do, from showing up, from following through, from moving with intensity before life forces you to you don't need to wait for a wake-up call. You don't need to wait until everything's falling apart. You can start now. You can move with power right now. The opportunity you want is waiting on the other side of the action. You've been avoiding. It's not complicated, it's just uncomfortable. But discomfort is where all growth lives. Stop asking, what if? Start asking, what's next? What's the next action I can take? What's one move I can make right now that pulls me closer to my goal? Take that step, then take another. Stop talking about it. Stop thinking about it. Do it. Start building your results instead of collecting reasons. And don't wait for things to be perfect. They never will be. People waste years trying to align everything before they begin. Meanwhile, the ones who just started, who kept going, who learned as they moved, those are the ones making progress. You'll never feel completely prepared, but action makes you ready. Action shapes your skill. Action builds your belief. And belief without action is just noise. It's okay to be scared, but act anyway. It's okay to be unsure, but move anyway. It's okay to fail, but start anyway. Because every result, every lesson, every breakthrough you want is only found through effort. And the more massive and immediate your action, the faster you'll find it. Not because the path is easy, but because the direction is clear. You will be judged. You will be misunderstood. You will face resistance. That's the price of movement. But movement is worth it because while others are waiting for the right moment, you'll already be miles ahead learning, growing, building, and becoming. That's the reward of action. Not just the goal, but the growth that comes along the way. So make the decision. No more waiting. No more permission. No more rehearsing the speech in your head. Do it. Apply, call, build, launch, move, and then keep moving fast, consistently, fearlessly. Let your actions speak louder than your words. Let your commitment be louder than your doubt. Let your movement drown out your fear. Because this is how you win. Not by talking, not by planning, but by doing every day. Starting now without apology, without approval, just action, massive, real, unstoppable action.